And here we go with our first Saturday stream for the day, which is going to be art time, drawing time, all those good times. I'm on the wrong file, as you do. I'm now live. We're now streaming. It's streaming Saturday here at Lynx Land. And for that, we're going to do more work on Eldritchrune, because goodness knows, this is a part that never ends. It goes on and on and on and on, my friends. Good grief, this is like 20 pages and it's just taking forever. Anyways, if you're joining in, say hello and all that goodness and tell me about your weekend. And I will tell you various things that may or may not be helpful to you, as you do. And also, if you hear boba ASMR in the background, that's because I have some boba and I'm slowly making my way through it because I got that for lunch. It's very tasty. Falling Rocks, my beloved. Super easy to draw. And of course I can also adjust music and all, sound and all that stuff as well, if need be. Whoop. And let's see. I also move the crickets to the back room. Not the back rooms as in like the liminal space, but the room at the back of the apartment. They are being very noisy today because I gave them fresh water and they love that. They're just like, I'll drink all the water ever. I'm gonna drink it all in 2 hours and it's gone. Bye. Crickets. Thirsty little bugs. Yeah, if you are around, just say hello. Hello, hello, thank you for coming. Hope your day is going okay so far. And for chatting for the first time. I appreciate it. It said I might be picking up my music a little bit, so I might need to turn that down slightly. Maybe it's just the song is noisy. Who knows? I don't. But yeah, I'm just trying to make more progress on doing the cleanup for this Eldritchrune comic, because goodness knows it is taking forever to get done. It will get done, just it's taking a while. At least we're almost done with the cleanup lines for this. And then I can get back to doing some more on the fills, because those still have a ways to go. One weird step at a time, mostly. Good grief. The crickets are so loud I can still hear them from like across the apartment. They're like, meow! Listen to our cries of, hey, ladies, 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 ladies. Hey, ladies. Pay attention to us, ladies, ladies. Like, you're right there. Why do you have to chirp so loudly? You are all in the same box together. Oh my goodness, they're loud. They're loud right now. I literally put them in, like, on the other side of the apartment. I need to close my door or something, because they are going for it. When I first started having to get live crickets, I was really worried that, like, oh no, they're gonna keep me up all the time with their noises, and then it kind of just became like white noise. It's like, oh yeah, cricket noise in the background, I don't care. Like, it's just kind of nice ambient noise, but I'm sure on stream that's going to be a little bit weirder. And also, for some reason, like, the ambient noise thing only works if they're all in their box. And many of them is, like, outside their designated, this is the cricket zone. It's like, home, like, because, like, one escapes or something like that. I, like, zone out, like, you're not in the proper box spot. This is gonna bother me forever. And sometimes they do escape, which is not fun. Yeah, it's like a white noise thing. It's very interesting. Which I don't know if that's gonna work very well with the music also going. I don't know, maybe you're like me, kind of person, like, I can't have silence at all, ever. There has to be some noise going. Like, the only time there is silence is when I'm actually going to sleep. I don't put stuff on to go to sleep. I just do it. But, like, if I'm up and doing stuff in the day, I do not like it quiet. The thing I've been using the most is just Gaster's pet crickets. That's probably what Gaster would have for a pet, right? Just weird ambient noise that you don't think much about, but it's always kind of there in the background. I named it Chirpy. Thank you, Gaster. Oh, I might have to close my doors. Yeah, if I'm just like doing chores or whatever, like my biggest help has been the wireless headphones. And I was using that to just listen to video essays, but I kind of had those on repeat. So I finally started checking out books or audiobooks at the library and putting those on while I work on stuff. And those have been pretty good. I'm making my way through some books because otherwise I don't get much reading done, and that's very sad. Yeah, my problem with like being alone in silence is like, oh no, now my thoughts. Here come the thoughts. Ugh. I don't want the thoughts. Anything but that. But yeah, it has worked out well just getting books from the ebook, or not ebooks, but audiobooks from the library. And then just putting those on while I work has worked out pretty well. I'm going to need to ask for more recommendations because I'm almost through of like what has been recommended to me so far, at least from what I had on hold. It's like this kind of like choice paralysis where it's like, oh, I can finally catch up on these books I need to read. Wait, which ones am I doing again? I can't even think of them now. Yeah, exactly. My brain in the silence. It's weird because it's just while I'm like working on regular stuff throughout the day. But I know some people like have to have on something to go to sleep or whatever, and not me. I just hello, thank you, Virgin. I want it quiet when I'm actually gonna go to bed. I'm like, it has to be dark and quiet. Goodbye. But otherwise, it's like, no! My thoughts! My brain! Save me! We can't be having the silences! Simon and Garfunkel! Save me! Purple is flying free. All of these dumb feathers that are a pain in the butt to do fills around. Then again, I did the whole skybox that way too, so I have no excuse. That's just how it is. But yeah, I usually do stream stuff on Sunday, but we're doing it on Saturday because tomorrow's a holiday, and I figure it'll be a little easier for folks if that's not competing with stuff. Plus I should really like call my family tomorrow. It's been a while since I've done that. We have the Queen. She's been bested. I gotta make sure I do this on the right layers again. I usually fail at that at least once. The proportions for this are always kind of messing with me because like usually I get a bigger brush for bigger character, but because the characters are so big in the scene, they're getting different size brushes, which looks a little weird next to each other. that's okay. Also, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. Yeah. Usually when I do streams, it's Friday night and Sunday afternoon or morning, depending on what's going on Sunday. We're just consolidating them both to today. There will be another one in the evening. Double stream day! Which hopefully my voice will handle that, okay? Probably. Maybe. Perhaps. Little breaks here. At least we're almost done drawing Queen. She takes a while. Okay, yeah. Fun Gang's like, we're out of here. No more whatever you got going on. Well, that is a long nap. Do you feel better? Also, hello. Thank you for coming. I can't remember the last time I've slept that long. Probably if I was sick or something. I need longer sleeps, but I don't get them much. I'm trying to get 8 hours more often. Also, my problem is I don't like naps. Like, I feel worse when I wake up from a nap. I can't explain it. But I hope you feel better. And that sounds like if it's been timed right and you need it, then it sounds like it would be helpful. Well, I guess that means you went to bed at yesterday, I guess, depending on your time zone. That is super long. It's like one time when I got really bad jet lag. Oh, good luck with that. Yeah, night schedule is tough. I did that for a little bit for a job I had that was a night shift, and I wasn't super fond of that. I don't like working night shifts, it turns out. So I'm glad I don't have to do that anymore. But good luck. Double drawing, parallel play. The best kind. I got a new follower on Blue Sky. Neat. Hope Blue Sky takes off more. I'm tired of dealing with Twitter often, but that's still where people are. Yeah, I remember this time that I was traveling overseas. We were in London. I was still pretty young. I think that's also when I sprained my wrist. And, we got there and I had really bad jet lag. So I, went to bed and slept. And then when I woke up, I was absolutely convinced that it was the next day. And, I was mad nobody woke me up. I'm like, why didn't you wake me up? It's the next day already. And it was not. I'd only been asleep for, 2 hours. But I was, convinced in my head that it was, 24 hours or something, and I had slept that long. I guess that's how much I needed it from jet lag. It was extremely weird. And also, yeah, good luck on your Undertale comic. Always need more goodness, and they're fun to do. The nice thing about drawing comics is, as hard as it is, as time-consuming as it is a really good way to practice lots of different things at once. Because you have to be okay, I have to think about composition, and character design, and backgrounds, and layout, and expressions, and action, and writing. You have to think about all that kind of stuff, unless you have a writer with you. And so it kind of forces you to become a jack of all trades sort of thing. And that can be really helpful. You learn all kinds of things. Oh, that's weird. Ugh. Woke up 12 hours later, convinced I only slept for 5 minutes. Ugh. Why do brains do that? They're like, well, then again, that's probably asking a lot of the brain to, like, understand going around the globe in, 5-10 hours or whatever it is. They're like, excuse me, the sun is in the wrong position. Incorrect. I'm going to yell at you about it with sleep. Probably toughest flight I ever did was Tel Aviv to Los Angeles. And that was, like, we started the day at like 3 a.m. and got back, and we also had like a 5-hour layover in London or something. And we got back, I don't remember what time we got back, but basically it was like, it felt like 48 or maybe just 24 hours, but because we were following the movement of the sun, it was like compressed into 12. It was really weird and exhausting. Us humans are not meant to understand time zones. Well, maybe we were. I don't know. We understand them mentally, but physically it's like, I wonder if animals get jet lag kind of like that too. Like if you, are transporting an animal, in a plane, like, I don't know, you're taking a kangaroo from Australia to a zoo somewhere. Do they get jet lag? Do they be like, what is time? What has happened? Does their circadian rhythm to get messed up? They are shock and awe. So it's like on top of like, the time change and the light change, you're also like in different pressure environment. And honestly, like, it's kind of okay if, like, you just have a solid idea for your story, but you don't have everything planned out. Because some stuff will come to you as you're working on it. And you're like, oh, I know what to do. I know how to fill this in. When before you're like, I don't know what I'm doing. So it's okay if that happens. You can still run with it. Oh no, dogs. Oh, that's gonna be hard. Also, how do you take dogs on like a cross-planet flight? I feel like anytime I've had to like go overseas there, because they're so picky about like, animals bringing diseases or whatever, but like you have to keep your dog in quarantine for like 6 months or something before you can even see them if you go overseas, so usually it's not worth it. Maybe we can do that with a service animal or something? I don't know. So I remember, if you wanted to go overseas and do stuff like that, you just could not bring the dog because the dog was expected to spend like half a year in quarantine, which is crazy. They do not like you taking animals overseas. Well, without probably certain things in place, I guess. Crickets! You are so noisy today. I gotta close my bedroom door or something. How does this thing work for Noel? I don't know. Mystery. Mystery! Oh, that's weird. Yeah. Where it's like, what time is it, huh? Flying is weird business. Kind of fun, but I think it's a lot worse than it used to be when I was a kid. Definitely takes longer to get places in terms of like Oh, I gotta go through security, and oh, I gotta go through customs, and oh, I gotta go through all this other stuff. Or maybe I'm just more aware of it now as an adult than as a kid. That's like, well, that's not my responsibility. I'm just gonna stand here in line and wait for the stuff to be done. Yeah, I am very glad I do not have a night job anymore. That was not my forte. Well, the one nice part of that was drive home because I got to drive along PCH, like, as the sun was coming up over the ocean, so that was really nice. I appreciated that part, but, not so much the rest. Got to do their eye on a separate layer. Remember when I started so I know when to take my break. Solitude can be nice. I guess it kind of depends on like what kind of night shift it is, because like when I was working as a phone operator, my favorite shifts were night shifts that would go basically until like from like 3 in the afternoon to midnight, and that was nice because like almost nobody's gonna call anyway, so nobody's bothering me, so I would just sit and work on my stuff or play on my DS or whatever, so that was cool. But the real night shift job I had basically went from 8 p.m. to, it was supposed to be 6 a.m., but I almost never lasted to 6 a.m. It was really long. And, I often didn't really have good food available. Nothing's open that time for a break in the middle. And it wasn't so much sit and do nothing as it was it was a job where basically I was combing through footage for I'm forgetting the word. For a reality show. I don't think that reality show ever really got off the ground, but I was supposed to comb through footage for a reality show and basically, pick out stuff that would be good for the editors to start using to build their story and stuff like that. Find some good B-roll footage, but also, like, find main story footage out of, like, hours and hours and hours of footage that they had for this kind of show. And, it just got really tiring, just kind of scrolling through tons and tons of video, being like, okay. Because it was like this... Yeah, again, I don't think the show ever got off the ground, but it was like a shrimping show. And, I learned a lot about shrimping, I guess. That was kind of fascinating, but I don't know if it would make for super good reality TV. Like, I'm not quite sure what kind of angle they were trying to go for with that show. I think the thing that I learned from that is, like, definitely in reality shows they will try and, hype up things way more than they actually are. Like, it's not scripted per se, but it is also kind of scripted. Like, basically, they would do a thing where, like, I think that's why they try to get it off the shows, because people like, the dangerous, crab fishing, and the deep, cold north kind of stuff. And that's cool, but shrimping isn't quite on that, dangerous level. It's still hard. It's dangerous. It's hard work. It's dangerous work. But it's not like, the thrashing storm, because this is happening in, like, Louisiana or whatever. Gulf of Mexico, not known for scary giant storms. But, they try to deal with, like, internal politics and stuff like that. And that kind of stuff. But, it wasn't... I mean, maybe it just didn't take off because it was super that... What's shrimping? Shrimping is catching shrimp. Catching, basically fishing, but you're fishing for shrimp. None of those guys were really sexy. I'm sorry. None of them had much sex appeal. They were just guys. They were just ordinary guys. Like, just a bunch of regular old guys. Yeah, like you have to, if you want to catch shrimp, you have to fish them a certain way, and you're still gonna get, like a bunch of fish and stuff in it, but you're trying to mostly focus on getting the shrimp, the wild caught shrimp. The scariest thing, like what I found kind of funny was like the difference in things that you're supposed to find scary versus what was actually scary. Like, for example, at one point, a crocodile or an alligator, gator, I think it was a gator, got stuck in the nets and got on board the boat. Shrimp fishing for humans. Are you telling me a shrimp fish these humans? That would be interesting. That's true. Like, a gator got into the boat, and the fishermen were not all that concerned. So they were like, okay, we'll just, try not to hassle it, and we can scoot it off the boat. And the people filming were like, no, you have to pretend to be scared of the gator. You have to, the gator's a big deal. I'm like, okay. I'm like, oh no, watch out. We got a gator on board. Watch out for it. Watch out. And like, they're like, no. Just gently push the big boy away. Like, he doesn't want to bother you, actually. He's here for the shrimp. The thing that was actually scary is like, oh yeah, there's the certain kind of catfish that you can fish up with the shrimp that has like a giant spike coming out of its head. And this spike is so like big and sharp that it can go through your boot. And also it's like barbed. So once it goes through your boot and gets stuck in your foot, like you cannot like pull it out easily without like ripping out flesh and stuff like that. And it's like a big poisonous spike-headed catfish that's native to that. They're like, oh yeah, this is scary because this can be hiding among the shrimp, and you're working your way around and you accidentally step on it. Now you have a giant spike coming out of your foot. And I'm like, that is way more terrifying than the gator. Hidden poisoned spike catfish with barbed spikes. Why have I not heard of this before? That's terrifying. Like, holy crap. Yeah, I think being completely unbothered by the gator is way more interesting. Definitely some of that B-roll footage, you can tell that people were hassling the gator, like making it mad so it'll snap at the camera. Because, like, the thing is, if you leave a gator alone, for the most part, it's just not going to bother you. It's, it's a reptile. It's not going to expend energy if it doesn't need to. So in order to make them look scary, you have to get up in their face and, like, mess with them, which is a stupid thing to do anyway. But that really became clear on the show when it's like, okay, in order to get the scary gator footage, we have to go up and poke the gator in the face and make it mad. Like, you shouldn't do that. Please leave it alone. It's just vibing. It's just vibing. Yeah, things I learned from that show. There are terrifying spikehead catfish. Yeah, I feel bad for the gator too. It's just minding its own business. And you definitely don't want to get up in their face because they can be quite dangerous. They got them powerful jaws in the death roll, but they're not going to actively seek you out. So in order for the gator to look scary, you have to get it mad. And that would be sad for the gator. It's just minding its own business. Feeding camera people to alligators often, yeah. Often is. Totally yell at a gator to claim my territory. This belongs to me. And another way that, like, the reality TV show stuff is scripted, but not scripted, is basically like, somebody will say something, just like the way you would normally have a conversation, while you're doing your job and stuff. And then the camera person would be like, can you say that again, but can you, like, face this way and address the person by name so you know who you're talking to? So then the person has to say the thing again, but it's not natural conversation. It's, like, talking to somebody specifically so the audience knows what's going on. And you kind of realize how scripted things have to be. Because if you're, like, doing actual reality television, most of the time you're not going to know what's happening. Because it's not directed at you. It's not directed towards you. It's, people doing their own random stuff. So, in that sense, like, reality TV is scripted, but it's not. It's basically like, okay, you said something, now you need to say it again in a way that sounds good for TV. So, Learn that. And then obviously they also, you know, the very obvious things if they try and, you know, pit people against each other, play up the politics more than people might actually have, and all that other stuff. Most of the time people are just trying to do their, you know, do their lives. Yeah, exactly. It just kind of sucks because, like, that's what actors are for. The actor's there to play a role that's big and strong and emotional. And, like, that's what they're trained to do, and they can emotionally handle that. But when you force, like, ordinary people to do that, one, you're doing it because you don't want to pay them like an actor. But two, it's like, now they're feeling actual emotional, they might be feeling actual emotional distress because they're, you know, they're trying to give you what you want, but it's just, yeah, that would have been funny. Like, you seeing these dummies? Oh yeah, for sure they're paid less. Like, reality TV stars are not paid like an actor is because they're not trained to be like an actor. They're just a person. But oftentimes, you know, you agree to do the reality TV show stuff because you're like, oh, well, I might, you know, even if I don't win the cash prize, I might, you know, get noticed for my performance, even though I haven't been trained to perform, or I haven't practiced performing. Exactly. That's why I especially feel uncomfortable with, like, those shows that are like, look at how the poor people live. Wow, it's so crazy. And I'm like, ugh, get out of here. And that was kind of the way it was with this show, too, because goodness knows you are not paid a lot as a shrimping fisherman. You are living on thin margins. So, there's always, like, it is hard to avoid an element of exploitation of it for a multitude of reasons. So, I'm glad I didn't have that job for super long. I don't even remember why I stopped it. Although, speaking of, I better stop soon to take a break and stretch my wrists. As soon as we finish Berkeley here. It sucks because, like, the Learning Channel used to be, like, really good, and then I'm pretty sure this was Zaslav's fault. I wouldn't be surprised if it was. Now it's, like, all reality shows all the time. No learning! Or, like, we're going to talk about Hitler and how it relates to the aliens and the blah. Like that. You made that up! You made that all up. I'll be honest, I know nothing about Mr. Beast except through memes and all of that stuff. So I'm like, okay. But the thing that stuck out to me recently was how he was like, I'm not even having fun doing this. I have to keep working myself to death in order to keep up with, like, you know, what's expected from me on this platform. I'm like, my dude, that is so bad. That is so bad. You are going to burn yourself out. You're going to hurt yourself. Maybe in a really, like, permanent bad way. Like, ugh. I don't know. Maybe I don't have full context, but at least from what I read, it wasn't good. Like, you should not work this way. You have to rest. You have to, you know, take care of yourself. But the way things are structured, it's like, I don't know, I guess he feels like he has to keep putting out this content all the time. Whether or not it's actually good for him. Yeah, like, I don't know, I'm just worried there's going to be some expose or fallout or whatever in the future where it turns out, you know, things just went really awful for him because, like, he was working in ways that were absolutely unhealthy to him and to others. I'm sure he genuinely helps people, but, you know, the saying is put on your own oxygen mask first kind of thing. And even if you are using your abilities to do good, like, it's not going to be very good if you don't also take care of yourself. And yeah, then there's also that question of, like, genuinely helping people, skirting that line between, like, you know, taking advantage of people and their poverty. Yeah, that's true. I mean, I probably would take away some discomfort if you waved $10,000 in my face. Yeah, like, oh, that sounds so rough. It's that kind of like, you know, exponential eternal growth, which is not possible. You can't maintain that. Eventually something's gonna have to break. And I don't know, it's kind of thing of like, you know, I'm glad that MatPat is like, I'm stopping now, I'm retiring, I'm gonna go do something else. Like, good for him. Good for him picking up on, you know, his priorities and being like, okay, I've done all I want to do, I'm gonna go do something else. Like, that's a healthy way to approach it. An emotional discussion. It can be emotional if you want. Alright, be right back for one more stretch. Stretch. I'm gonna close that door if I can. Shush. Okay. Alright, I am back. And yeah, this thing gives me the sads. No. Get your boba ASMR there. But I think that kind of like making a spectacle of feeding the poor, that's been around for a while. I don't think that's anything new. But it probably is not helped by like the social media aspect of, you know, I'm going to, you know, really make a spectacle out of this and record it. Just like, give them some money. That's all you need to do. But I don't know. Maybe sometimes, you know, it helps raise awareness, but sometimes it's like, please give people their dignity at least. It's hard. Yeah, by the way, if you're new, when I'm drawing, I take a break from drawing every half hour to get up and stretch and do a little quick muscle massage on my arm. I do this when I'm working my job too, and it's because of that year, I think 2019 or whatever it was, where I injured myself really badly by overworking and had to go through a bunch of rest and physical therapy, and now I keep doing those exercises and work like every half hour I stretch. Because if I don't, it starts to feel real bad. So basically, I know how Toby feels when he got his wrist messed up too. That is awful, 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 awful place to be in. Yeah. Then again, like, there are some counties now where it's like, it's illegal to feed the homeless, and I'm like, how about you F off forever? I'm gonna do it anyway. Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm always like, some people are like, oh, I'm, you know, working something. I'm like, hey, make sure you take care of your physical body, please. Get up and stretch your eyeballs, stretch your arms, your neck, your wrists, all that goodness. You will need it. Like, you think, especially when you're young, you think, oh, I can keep going forever and ever and ever, and then all of a sudden you are going to just hit a wall, and it's really going to suck. So better to do preventative stuff now. But, I was super concerned about that, but like the physical therapist said, yeah, you know, if you just take care of yourself and don't overwork, then you can keep doing this, you know, for another few decades. So that matters to me more than, you know, trying to overwork now. So as much as I would love to just, you know, plow through the many projects I have, and try to keep that in mind and not overwork. Yes, in some places it is illegal to give money or food to the homeless. Some counties. It is pretty blatantly, you know, politics of cruelty. Usually the thing is people can't have handouts, then they'll think that it's okay to be homeless and poor. And it's like, my dude, nobody is being homeless and poor because they're like, wow, I can't wait for all the free food I'm gonna get when I'm homeless and poor. Like, no. It's politics of cruelty. It's really bad. I'm pretty sure it's not limited to just the U.S., but as far as I know, those are definitely things in the U.S. And I was drawing on the wrong layer, wasn't I? Wait, okay. At least it was all... Okay, I can salvage this. Put you on the correct layer. Birdly, stop looking so smug. You're on the wrong layer. Okay. Like, no. Yeah, the reasoning is, like, if you are going to, like, get some kind of handout or whatever for, you know, being homeless, then you have to prove it. Or prove that you are, you know, not going to spend it on drugs and alcohol and whatever. And it's like, I don't know, dude. I give, you know, tons of money to, you know, corporations all the time and whatever, and you don't have to prove that you're not spending it on drugs and alcohol. You know? It's very, very much a demonizing of the poor. Like, if you're, you know, well off, then sure, you can spend your money on whatever you want, but if you're poor, then it's morally wrong for you to spend your money on what you want. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's true. Like, you all get a big portion of my wages, and I don't complain about you spending it on drugs and alcohol, so maybe you don't get to complain about it. Before I give you $12 million, Mr. CEO, prove you aren't buying cocaine. Impossible challenge. Yeah. It's also sometimes it's like... Yeah, sometimes people make poor financial decisions, and sometimes people are in a position where, like, they do not have financial choices to make. There's just not an option there. Like, you can't... It's not like, oh, I can spend this money on, you know, rent or food. Sometimes, like, I can't actually do both. Especially if they're not paid very well. Please pay your workers. And one thing with drawing hands, I never quite know what to do with them if they're not doing anything. Like, hands are just resting there. Oh, thank you. Line art's my favorite thing to do, I think. It's very relaxing for me. Yep, Birdley's still smug. Birdley's like, I'm the coolest. I'm the coolest. And we'll get on to this one. Take down that. Hey, it's finally the part where I shared it a little while ago. It's taking forever to get there. Alright, we also need a special lines one. Chris is like, that's a big burb. Yeah, hands in pockets. It's even harder on my current job. They're really particular about hands and hand positions you can do. They're like, we don't want any poses where the hand is like, you know, out like this, where it's like palms out. And I'm like, but this is a very common casual hand pose. What do you mean you don't want those? So it sucks. I'm constantly being like, what can they be doing with their hands that the client will not get picky about? Make them do Spider-Man hands constantly? This would probably work if I was working on Spider-Man, but I'm not. Spider-Man, Spider-Man does whatever he wants to. Jazz hands all the time. Sometimes it feels like that. Like, okay, their hands are doing something. Also, they don't want that palms out, and they do not want pointing unless you're specifically pointing at like an object that you're talking about. So, no palms out, no pointing. Just like, please! Sketching is very fun. I just like line work because it's a little brainless. Sketching. How did I draw a hand so fast? Storyboard artist. You have to draw a lot of everything very quickly. Yeah, I think that's the reason why pointing was kind of like on the no-no list is in a lot of cultures, pointing can be disrespectful. And they're always thinking about, how is this going to play in other countries? We got to sell the toys there too. Yeah, I drew a hand quickly because I'm a storyboard artist and I have to draw a lot of things very quickly, including hands. Not super accurate as long as it's good enough. Fair play. Does drawing for work ever burn you out on drawing for fun? Not so far. I think it does for a lot of artists, but I've managed okay so far, so that's good. It helps that, like, you know, I don't feel overworked on my job right now. I'm like, okay, this is a schedule I can manage. It's a reasonable amount of work and enough time to do the work. So to that end, I haven't felt burned out. But I think a lot of artists do get that, so that is a risk. I'm probably just weird. I'm like, no, I have to keep going. Oh, I did have a good Friday. Well, that was mostly working on Anthrophractal, which I still got to work on because new part, new characters. I can't reuse animation for this one, so I have to do a lot of new animation and coloring and figuring that out. So a little bit more of that tomorrow. But also, yesterday I met up with a friend for lunch, and it was really nice because we hadn't seen each other in a while because we were both busy over the holiday. And we just hung out and chatted for a bunch, and it was really fun. We should do that again soon. So that was good idea. I recommend hanging out with your friends. Turns out it's good. Because I was like, oh man, I haven't seen my friend in forever and I'm feeling kind of lonely. And we should go get lunch together. Turns out she was the exact same way. She's like, I haven't been going out at all. I'm really lonely. I'm glad that we got lunch together. I'm like, okay, good. I'm glad I suggested this too. Yay for friends. I know. I need to hang out with my friends more often. Make new friends if I can. Implies there's a bad Friday. I think that would be like Friday the 13th, I guess. I think most Fridays are just going to be mediocre Fridays. Dead End Paranormal Park is a good show. I liked it. Although, again, the ending cliffhanger, I'm like, oh no, there's not gonna be more. I like how the talking pug gets, like, serious, like, character development and, angst and all that stuff. Good show, good characters. I am very sorry to tell you this, yes, it ends on a cliffhanger. I suspect there might have been more that was intended, because I think it was based on a graphic novel, and the graphic novel might have more. But in terms of, like, what's actually been made for Netflix, it ends on a cliffhanger. I'm sorry. Oh, no, that is a bad Friday. I'm sorry you dropped chicken in the dirt. No. No. I'm sorry to tell you this. Just brace yourself for it. Like, some stuff gets resolved, but, like, okay, most stuff gets resolved. It's not like nothing gets resolved kind of thing. a bunch of stuff get resolved. It's just then it sets up what you could easily do for another season, and then we don't get another season. That's the issue. It's like, oh no, what will they do next? And then we won't get to see it. I apologize. Blame Netflix. I think it's Netflix's fault. I'm pretty sure it's the streaming thing's fault. It's usually how it goes. Yeah, I'm sorry you dropped your chicken. This is like when I was camping with my family once, and my dad got these really nice steaks that he was going to grill over the fire, and then he accidentally dropped them in the dirt. And we were like, you know what? Never mind. We'll just wash them off and eat them anyway, because we're not going to leave these steaks in the dirt. They're good steaks, and we haven't cooked them yet, so cooking will get rid of the bad crap. I know. Why would somebody leave a show on a cliffhanger? That's so evil. It was me. I'm the evil one. You should have realized. Gosh, if actual canon ends the same way, or in a similar way, I'm really curious how people will react. If people will like be willing to be like, oh, I know this makes sense for this, or if people will be big mad. And some places people do eat dirt, and depending on the dirt, it's not necessarily bad for you. It could be dangerous though, because like, you know, it might have heavy metals in it. But like, on its own, yeah, on its own, dirt is not inherently bad, but it could contain. You don't really know what's in it. It could contain something that's not helpful. In general, you don't want to eat dirt because it might have good minerals, but it might have some really bad ones. And you can't really digest it, so it's mostly just to, you know, fill you up. Ugh, sand. Ugh, it's all grainy though. Ugh, bleh, bleh, bleh. I guess my thing was I had a habit of you know, I would eat like a lollipop or a Tootsie Pop or something, and then I would just chew on the paper that made up the stick until that was all eaten up. And that is exactly true, Demo. I have thought about that. I'm like, oh man, if it ends the same way, and then I decide I'm going to do a continuation of it, you know, like I want to do a big project for it, then I will become the thing that I feared. I am willing to take on that stuff, though. That would be extremely funny. That has crossed my mind. That would be the irony of ironies. It was said you would destroy the Sith, not join them. How could you? Yeah, I feel kind of confident still that, you know, I'm sure, one, it's going to be executed a lot better than what I did. And it'll make more sense, especially in the proper medium. I think the fact that having it be a game instead of, like, you know, a passive audience thing like a comic is already points in its favor. And two, I feel like that is going to be like the natural culmination of Chris's character arc. Is a, you know. Yeah, I'm sure the details will be very different. They would have to be, naturally. Like, idea they're very different circumstances surrounding it. Yeah, the ending of Mother 3 is kind of ambiguous. It's the kind of thing of like, you know, I was actually talking about this with my friend at lunch yesterday. But, you know, and Toby has said that, oh, you know, Deltarune's based on a dream I had, a fever dream I've had, and I saw the ending and I had to make this game. And it's the kind of thing of like, okay, what would, you know, prompt me to do that kind of thing? And if it were me, and I, like, had this dream of, like, the ending of a game or whatever, all this big elaborate stuff going on, maybe I'm, you know, participant in it, maybe I'm not, but I'm, you know, witnessing it. And then, like, at the end of that, you know, like, the main hero character person goes to me and is like, you know, you've been this far, but we can't do this with your here. I'm sorry, but you're going to have to go. And then I woke up. Like, that is the kind of thing that would leave an impression on me so strong that 15 years later I'd want to still make a game about it. Like, that is the kind of thing that would just absolutely rock my world, and I would want to do it. So I could be totally off base. I could be super wrong on all that, for sure. But in my reading of it, like, that is the kind of feeling I feel like Toby might be trying to invoke with Deltarune of, here's this thing that you can participate in as a bit of fantasy, but also the fantasy does not exist solely for your benefit. And part of it is like having to let go of that and realizing these people have their own, even fantasy has lives outside of you. I mean, the moon blowing up is kind of an interesting dream. I'd say that's kind of a big deal. I had a similar dream like that. Yeah, those ones that feel like they have like an actual plot to them are just really freaky. I don't think I've had any super good ones recently. I had like a... Okay, you know what dream I had yesterday that was really upsetting for really unknown weird reasons? I was like... I had to brush my teeth for something. I was trying to brush my teeth and I could not get toothpaste on the toothbrush. Like, it just wouldn't stay on at all. And I'm like going through this and I'm trying, like, I have to brush my teeth for something. And it wasn't working. And then like at one point I was like trying to work around it anyway, and I was like chewing on plastic and it was all like ruining my mouth, and I hated it. That was a bad dream. I hated that. I don't want to make a game about that. Yeah, sometimes you just get a personal project and you're like, I have to do this. And it seems like that's what's going on with Toby, is that, like, everybody's like, when is he going to finish Eldritchrune? I'm like, I'm pretty sure more than any of us, he really wants to finish it. Again, if something has stuck with you this long, it's usually for a reason. Yeah, it's so weird. That stuff is so personal. Certainly I've at least gotten, like, some interesting stuff. Maybe not necessarily from dreams, but even just, like for example, the space side designs were from a waking up drawing. So that was kind of, like, from a liminal half-sleep sort of state. And I really liked how they came out. So I'm like, I'm going to keep working with these guys. And I like the space side. So you can get some really cool story, art, design stuff, ideas from dreams where basically like your sensor brain is just completely turned off and it's just pure emotion, pure scrambling of images, ideas. That's a very interesting state to be in. Nearly impossible to induce artificially. Rose from a fever dream to write some fan fiction. Oh boy. That's okay. So like not everything that you get in a dream is necessarily suitable for like sharing with other people. Sometimes it is a thing where it's like, oh, this is so cool, I have to share this idea with other people. And then sometimes you're like, okay, this is a very personal thing for me. It's not going to work for, a broader audience. And that's all right. Certainly, I think the hard part of, like, translating dreams to, like, actual fiction that people, other people can consume is, like, you feel the emotions very strongly yourself. Like, you can experience these emotions and they mean so much to you, and you want to share those emotions with other people, but, like, it's really difficult sometimes. Because you're like, oh, this made me feel this way really strongly, and like you just can't translate that to a way somebody else can understand. Being able to translate that level of emotion in a way to that other people can, like, oh, I feel that emotion too. Like, that is a big challenge. So if Toby can pull that off, that's going to be pretty damn awesome. But it's definitely, I would say, a challenging thing. There's a reason most people are like, oh, don't explain your dreams to me, because it's like, yeah, unless you were there, you don't necessarily feel that emotion that the other person did. Also, hello, thank you for coming. World art place with robots, vectors. Ugh. No, you haven't shown me that. I am interested. Certainly relevant to today's zeitgeist. Yeah, you can show me that later on the server if you want. Up to you. I like Birdley's excited face. Chris, recruit me! Recruit me, Chris! Depressing and interesting. Yeah. I mean, that's a waking nightmare that a lot of people I know, including myself, kind of are dealing with. That got a reminder today that, like, not necessarily the business people, but, like, the tech people that are really, really deep into this AI stuff, they're basically in a cult. They're literally in this, like, we are going to create our god through the power of our hubris, and, like, it's entirely sincere. It's really weird. Oh, my paper trail fanfic. Aww. I think you should keep at it. For some reason, paper trail got like a lot of interest again. Like people were bringing it up to me more recently. I was like, huh, did somebody mention something somewhere and paper trail got brought up? Because I'm like, it popped up like twice on the Reddit, and I was like, paper trail reminder. It feels kind of awkward now, just because like, I don't know, it's weird. Like there's some things that's like, oh yeah, I predicted that pretty well, and other things it's like, oh, that was super off, super incorrect. And now, like, some of my predictions for rest of the game are just, like, opposite of what I had going for in Paper Trail, which is kind of interesting. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was the promise, was that robots would do manual labor and we would get to do the fun stuff, and what happened? Oh, well, I mean, we can talk about a lot of different things about how that happened, but I'm literally not kidding in that these tech bros are in a cult centered around AI. I am not being facetious. That is what's going on with them. But if you're outside of that core tech bro kind of world, it is for the most part like business owners looking to, you know, not pay people, because of course they are. Find their magic bullet of, wow, I won't have to pay anybody, but I still get a product. That's the capitalist dream. I'm not sure on the going backwards sort of thing, because like I think that the story structure of Undertale is structured that way for a reason, and I'm not sure to what end it would make sense to be going in reverse for that kind of stuff. Chris is skeptical as well. Honestly, that is something that changed after Paper Trail, even though I made all these, like, you know, oh, connections to Undertale and all that kind of stuff. I am now at the point where I'm kind of, like, reversed on that, and I'm like, unless the game says so otherwise, my assumption is that the rules between Undertale and Deltarune are different. Unless the game specifically says otherwise, assume things are not the same. Expressions are fun to draw. It's so funny, everybody's like, oh, your expressions are so good, and I'm like, it's probably because I ended up working on them a lot out of spite. When I was in school, I had a teacher that was like, you want to do storyboards? Well, your expressions are not very good. You have to get better at those. Want to do storyboards. So I'm like, well, fine then, here I go. And then I did. I'm not even sure how I practiced that. Yeah, teachers be like that sometimes. I mean, she wasn't really an art teacher, she was more of a business teacher. Yeah, I am curious as to what will happen with Asriel in Deltarune. There's got to be something. I feel like definitely at least part of what the hint is that you know, we've been given this idea that, like, oh, you know, Asriel is this golden boy and blah, 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 blah. You know, everybody loves him. He's perfect in everything he does. And then the whole part of the deal is like, no, he's not. He's a regular teenage guy. He has weird interests sometimes. He screws up. But that goes against the identity that's been kind of hoisted onto him. Also, thank you for stopping by for your break. Yeah, I'll switch info. Probably I'm going to take a break in between this one and the Slay the Princess, like, to get dinner and stuff like that. And little break and all that kind of stuff. So I'll probably stop this around like 5:30, and then we'll start the game one at like 7:30 Pacific time. But yeah, they're not saying much about Asriel. Yeah, the thing is, he seems like kind of the golden boy in that, like, he's good at academics and he's like a bit of a jock. He was on, you know, the track team or whatever because he has the track shirt. Asriel was Jess's queer lover. Okay, in what way, though? Like, is he bi? Or is she bi? I don't know. Yeah, I can definitely see the strained relationship between them. I think it's this thing where basically Chris... Oh, I would like or Ace Asriel. That would make me happy. Yeah, I can see him struggling mentally within the family. That he's probably has this expectation. You know, yeah, he seems to be into dragons. He's the one that checked out the How to Draw Dragons book, and basically when Susie looked into his room on the in Queen's Mansion, he's like, "Oh wow, better hope I don't meet him." He's probably got some. Some not safe for work stuff in there, which I think again lends into this idea that, like, he's presented as this golden child, but he's not so much. And Chris is aware of this probably even more than, like, you know, their parents are. Certainly more than anybody else in town is. So they've got this kind of weird thing where, like, they really do like their brother. And their brother sticks up for them, Asriel sticks up for them. But at the same time, like, there's this weird expectation where they are not their brother, and their brother is also not this person who's been built up over time in hometown as this golden child. He's just not. He's not what everybody says he is. But still, Chris feels compelled to, you know, defend him. But at the same time, there's some kind of resentment there because they are definitely not that. It's probably a lot of complicated feelings. Noelle and Asriel fighting over that book, for real. Yeah, some people make the Amori connection there. My thoughts on that are that basically I think that Chris was the one that was present whenever something happened to Des. I don't think Chris deliberately, like, oh, I'm gonna, you know, push her down the stairs, or, you know, the Amori thing kind of stuff. I think that basically that she was in trouble and Chris had the option to help her and couldn't because they were too scared, or just, you know, basically their lack of decision making is what got Des disappeared. And so even though they're not directly responsible, they feel responsible. They're like, if I had actually acted, this wouldn't have happened. And then all this fallout from, you know, Des vanishing is essentially my fault because I was too scared. I couldn't make whatever choice I had to make. I didn't have courage to help her. Because it seems like a big thing with Chris that keeps coming up with them is courage. Is, like, you know, the game over screen is called faint courage. Their special ability is, you know, you cast courage on the party. They're really this kind of thing where, like, we're trying to make sure Chris has courage, and I think that's because they feel like they don't have it. I think they deliberately sought out being possessed, you know, because they're like, I can't, you know, make these decisions by myself. I can't be trusted to do it. I can't handle this responsibility. Somebody else should do it. And then realized, oh wait, that's a bad idea. I actually need to be able to make my own decisions, and now I can't. He's the orange soul. Yeah. Certainly, it feels like basically that Asriel being around was kind of what was holding Chris together. And now with him gone, Chris is foundering. That they feel really lost in terms of like what their identity is, what and who they're, you know, how they're supposed to be, who they're supposed to be. But at the same time, it's like Chris can't rely on Asriel for their identity. They have to form their own. I keep having this feeling that at the end of chapter 3, Asriel's gonna call on the phone and like he's gonna talk to Toriel, and we're not gonna be able to talk to him, and it's gonna be so annoying. It's like, why won't you let us talk to him? And she'll be like, no, he's coming home soon. Let's talk to him. It's like, why didn't you let us talk to Asriel? Oh, it's gonna drive me nuts. I just have this distinct feeling that's gonna happen. Yeah, the Courage secret boss will be stronger. I don't know if Chris's motive is entirely courage, but I feel like that is a big part of what's going on with Chris, is they feel like they lack courage, and this is a means for them to try and get it. Because they are definitely being pushed by Rousey to be like, you're the one that's in charge, Chris. You're the one that's making the decisions. You're the leader of the party. So I think this is kind of a bit of a struggle, because otherwise they don't feel like they're the leader of the party. They don't feel like they can trust to make their own decisions. Now they are being pushed into being the decision maker, whether because they want to, or Rousey wants them to, or, you know, however it goes. Yeah, I don't know. It may not happen. It's one of those things where I'm like, oh, I can definitely see that happening. Just to tease us further. I know, show us what he looks like. We need to know what he looks like in comparison to, one, you know, Undertale Asriel, and two, you know, Rousey. How does he look in comparison to Rousey? Please tell us. That's why I also feel like we might have that kind of thing, because it's like, okay, we'll get this confirmation that he's around, but we still won't be able to see what he actually looks like. Ah! Yeah. I like that piece of art that came out recently that's like, which you know, Rousey or Asriel Truther are you? God of Hyperdeath, like Dad, boy band, tall Rousey are the options. I'm like, yeah, that's what usually people default to. Well, I often can get a mix of that. Let us see the boy. Let us see the boy. And I think... okay, I'm just going to go ahead and finish this page, and then we'll do a stretch. We're almost done with these, at least. Well, that'll be good. I'm highly suspicious of the fact that, like, oh, we'll see, you know, Asriel at the same time we'll see Papyrus. Why are you hiding Papyrus from us, too? Both of them. Why are you hiding them from us? Now, that would be interesting. I'm not sure how he would appear in the Dark World. We don't know that it's him. Yeah. We are not the same. The noble entity possessing me is also they, them, conveniently. Alright, good luck with your shift. Thanks for coming by. It's Prunzel! Gosh darn Prunzel. Prunzel is an Eldritchrune, it's just Prunzel, though. There's also Papyrus. Prunzel's just there, you know, hanging out. That's why like I'm playing Undertale Yellow Neutral Root and it's like, Prunzel? Why is there no Prunzel attack here? Part of me hopes that like the half-human theory is true just because it would be extremely funny if like, you know, we find like, okay, you can finally talk to Papyrus and he's just a guy. He's just a human guy. It's raining with thunder. Uh-oh. You gotta be careful. Gotta be careful there. Like, fandom would absolutely flip out. It would be extremely funny. Yeah, he's still a skeleton on the inside. He's got a skeleton on the inside. It's just, you know, he's also got skin and stuff. If you take away the skin, he's gonna look exactly the same as Papyrus. Yeah, that's why I think some of the options for, like, what would Asriel look like here is the boy band hair. He's in college now. He can cut his hair however he wants. Boy band hair, Asriel Truther. I can get behind this. I mean, heck, one of the options for the drawer is, you know, he has a terrible haircut. He looks like a doofus. He better. I hope he looks like the biggest doofus. Total dork. Everybody loves him, and yet he's a total dork. He smokes herbal cigars with dyed black hair, thinks it makes him look cool. Hey Chris, have you heard of Marxism? Studied in college. Tartarel's like, no! She'd probably be fine. Asriel doofus. So I guess here's also the question, does he have glasses? Because we know that Ralse has glasses. But does Asriel also have glasses? Oh no! Not that. He comes back with piercings and eyeshadow. Caddy's like, oh wow, hi. Hey. When did your brother change? Yeah, I think usually people have Asriel having glasses, because, you know, Ralse has glasses. And the only other one with glasses is Toriel. So I feel like people often default, like, people kind of mix and match. It's like, okay, you know, he has either dad hair or the boy band hair, but he also has glasses. Yes, on the inside, she's like, where did I go wrong? I tried to be a good mom. Honey, those piercings were not done correctly, even. Mini Asriel. Poor Toriel, she tried. She's like, you kissed a girl, we're going to church all week. Toriel, are they even against kissing at church? Asriel, no, don't go to Claire's. No, don't do it. I went to Claire's and then to get my ears pierced, and then the horror story happened. And long story short, I don't have my ears pierced anymore. Thank you, Claire's. Asriel, don't go. Don't do it. You'll regret it. Also, I'm taking a stretch right now. I should probably just shut that down in Claire's. It's just so not safe. Not on kids, anyway. Again, I wonder how hard it is to pierce, like, those big floppy ears. Is it much easier? It's probably easier. It's like all cartilage, right? Maybe a little thicker, but, you know. Yeah, a tattoo shop I'd probably trust more with a piercing than Claire's. Asriel just adopted the hyper-death Flowey personality. Nothing matters. Chris, we're all just in a video game. It's like, Asriel, what are you talking about? Also, hello, thanks for coming. I'll be right back for one more stretch. I'm coming back. He wears make-it-look-things cool death, Sona. He did, you know, working on that video game with the boss with the rainbow wings. Golly. Opie says, that's a wonderful idea. And just, like, means it very sincerely, but there's always, like, this kind of, like, like, you get this kind of shiver about it, even though he's using it in a totally, like, normal context. Well, this is a feathered animal? I don't know. People don't usually use feathery with them. No. Ice! Ice! Yes, this is acapella Asgore theme. Feathered animal dinosaur. There you go. Feathery. Alright, let's get these guys. Okay, lines, special lines. Yeah, oh my goodness. Now I'm hoping this happens. I hope that Asriel at some point has a line where he says, that's a wonderful idea, and, like, means it in a totally sincere way. Like, you know, nothing actually wrong with it in context. But then, like, all the audience watching it just kind of shudders. Like, I just think that'd be really funny. Just like, Asriel, you sound like Ronald McDonald. For unknown reasons. That would just be really funny. I mean, Deltarune's already playing with, like, you know, stuff you think you remember from Undertale kind of stuff. I want weird little moments like that. Crash Twin Sanity. I've never played any Crash games. You should say, a wonderful idea. That's a wonderful idea. I can't do that. What would you like to do? Great! Andrew, how did your voice get more annoying during college? How? I do like acapella music. I mean, it's Smooth McGroove. Can't go wrong with Smooth McGroove. I'm glad he started putting out some more covers again. His work is very good. Oh wait, did Crash have an acapella soundtrack? That'd be interesting. Not what I would have expected. Ah, Crash Bandicoots. Insanely broken and unfinished. Oh no, that sucks. Please finish your games, if possible. So many games to try, so little time. Hello, thank you for coming. Also, I hope the con's going okay. Well, thank you. I'm glad you like Eldritch Birdley's face. He is a silly, silly burb. Being like, yeah, I use my tactical skills. Oh, sheesh. Huh. I did not realize they had a cappella music. How weird. I usually associate that with, like, church stuff, so I'm kind of like, huh. Interesting. Spiral Mouth. Haven't heard of that. I'm guessing it wasn't like a, you know, scope creep kind of thing. It was just like they just did not have budget or time. Yeah. How interesting. And don't get me wrong, I love acapella music, but that would be an interesting choice for a game soundtrack. Aw. I mean, it sounds like he would sing acapella because he was in the church choir. And they're like, oh, we wish that he was back here, he could sing in the choir again, so... Assuming they're the kind of church that does acapella music, then he's probably participated. Like, my church I grew up with, like they were not an instruments church. Like some churches are like, oh, we're gonna have instruments, you know, for our worship, and ours was like no instruments, singing only, which I kind of like actually because I think it sounds a little better to be able to like sing along than just, you know, your voice gets drowned out by, you know, the guitar and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know, maybe the church and hometown is also a cappella only, so Asriel has a nice singing voice. A cappella dubstep. They just say wub wub a bunch. Somebody could probably pull it off. Smooth McGroove could pull it off. How interesting. I guess then at least you don't have to pay for the instruments and upkeep and all that stuff, although doing stuff with just your voice is definitely tricky. And speaking of tricky, here's a big dumb antlers again. Well, it's big dumb antlers. All weird. Nina Cortex. Seems like there was like kind of a lot of games that came out like after Mario Kart. Everybody was like, we have to make our own Mario Kart. There's tons of money to be made here. And there was like the Crash Racing and Diddy Kong Racing, and I don't know if there's other ones. Those are probably the other popular ones. Chocobo Racing, I guess? I thought Dr. Cortex was like the main villain or something of Crash. I hope it's both. Yeah, I guess we haven't really had much voice lines. You get voice lines from Asriel, and it's just very different from Flowey. Or the same, either way. Ah! Oh, you play as Cortex in Twin Sanity, okay. Interesting. Interesting. Burbly! He's flying high. We need to expand the karting genre. Kart-based RPG. So is this like you can't go down the track unless you take your turn? It's turn-based, but you're karting? Oh, how do they do the speedruns for that? I guess if it's broken, that's the point where you can do some really interesting stuff with speedrunning. I'm gonna jump. Oh, I'm gonna jump oob, and here we go. And now I'm at the finish line in the end. Ah, ha, ha. I do like watching those speedruns where they're just like, I'm gonna go crazy out of bounds here. Where am I? I don't know. I'm 12 parallel universes over. With half an A press, and I played it on the drums. That's pretty crazy. That's pretty broken, too. That is a broken game. Like, whatever, just ship it out, we don't care. I mean, making games is hard. Super hard. Yeah. I love it. I like watching them. Also, the nice thing is, like, you get speedruns for anything. Like, you can get them for, like, okay, having really good luck, having really good skill, having really good, you know, combination of skill and, you know, luck and all that kind of stuff. Just fun times. And it's cool to see people good at that, because goodness knows I am not. I ain't that skilled. I just do little cartoons all day. Well, I think the crickets are finally quiet, or else closing the door helps, so yay. Bird with a little nubby tail here. Yeah, I at least hope that we can see what Asriel looks like before, you know, whenever he's supposed to come home in game, which sounds like it'll be towards the end of the week, when I'm sure crap will be going down at a most inopportune time. And this tends to happen. I hope we get to like have a chance to talk about him, but we can call him Douglas, like Caddy's dad does for reasons of referencing Doug the cartoon. Mr. Dink, Douglas. Alright. Barely still being annoying. This is the last page. We're almost done with the clean lines on this. And then once I'm done with clean lines, I think I'm going to go back and start doing some of the fills that I started, but different. I need to do like, I have the acid stuff on a separate layer, so I need to go back and do those. Asriel pulls up in time just to see the roaring happening. He's like, oh yeah, my hometown's pretty small. Nothing exciting ever happens here. Gets back and it's like, wait. What'd you all do while I was gone? I leave town for 10 minutes. And y'all have the roaring happening. You can't function without me, apparently. However that's gonna look. I gotta get some more Asriel right again, because I think the next part I want to do for Eldritchrune after this one will be conversations that like Asgore and Toriel and Asriel are having. So I gotta work out some more writing for them. What the heck is the roaring? Let me explain. No, there was too much. Let me sum up. Yes, it also depends on if you think that, like, previous generations, like, you know, Toriel or Asgore or anybody else were also in the Dark Worlds when they were young. I'm hoping for some Suzel as well, although yeah, I can imagine there might not be space for that in Chapter 3 just because I would be surprised if Noelle ended up there. I mean, not impossible, but it would be surprising. But I'm sure it'll get developed in some way or another, even if she's not present in the Dark World. And yeah, we could do more with Chapter 4 for sure. I definitely think some of that's going to have to be addressed because of just what Caddy said, and we'll have to resolve whatever is going on between Caddy and Susie. They seem to have some beef. And heck, I'm surprised we got like a little Suzel, you know, sprite in the last newsletter. I was like, oh, look, there they are. They're so cute. I'm actually kind of wondering when the next newsletter will be, because we had this one kind of late in like February. So I'm like, are we getting one in like May, maybe? I don't know. Maybe just waiting for summer? No clue. Yeah, we'll probably get at least 1 or 2 moments. If nothing else, at least like a mention of it. I guess it also depends, like, okay, you know, we might get a mentions of it involving, you know, Susie, because she's going to be with us, but I don't know if we're going to get a town walk around at the end of the chapter, because, you know, it's presumably going to be middle of the night. Maybe by the time they finish, it'll be like, you know, start of the morning of the weekend. So, I don't know, maybe we can do a town walk around, but I don't know. Maybe the walk around will just be kind of like sandwiched in between, you know, chapters 3 and 4, so it could be either end of chapter 3 or start of chapter 4. Get your time to, you know, get your recruits back to Castletown, change your equipment, find out new stuff at the library that one monster's hiding, and then probably talk to Noelle and Birdley, assuming you didn't snowgrave him, and etc., etc. Set up some more stuff. And then I guess it depends on where people think Chapter 4 Dark World will take place. Or even if there will be a... I think some people might be like, oh, we're not getting a Chapter World... or a Chapter World. A Chapter 4 Dark World, but I feel like we probably will. And in that sense, it's a matter of where you think that would take place. And like a lot of people are guessing the church. My guess actually is Asgore's flower shop for Chapter 4. But I could definitely see the church as well. Both decent options. And mostly the reason why I think it'll be Asgore's flower shop is I think we're going to be like setting up some like Dreamer family stuff in Chapter 3, especially if Toriel is joining the party. That'll just be like kind of continued, followed up in Chapter 4. I'm not sure we can do Snowgrave in Chapter 3. I can get my Bulba. I don't think basically if we have a weird route in Chapter 3, I don't think it's going to play out the same way of like, we're going to manipulate this other character into killing people, and somebody's gonna die. I don't think that's how it's gonna work. Again, could be wrong, but I think it would be kind of suspicious if, like, we're just offing people every time we go into the Dark World if you keep going that route. Yeah. No, the day Chapter 3 and 4 release, I'm literally going to be like, sorry, work, I'm taking some vacation days. I have to play the game. Delta Doom was real all along. Yeah, I do hope they become closer friends. I'm really worried there's going to be something that's going to, like, test their friendship real bad. Like the end of Chapter 5 or something that's going to drive a wedge in their friendship. And I'll be like, no! That would be a bad cliffhanger. I feel like their friendship's going to be an important part of succeeding at whatever they need to do in the long run. So something threatening that is to me a scary prospect. I would be upset. Chris and Susie sharing a brain cell. And that brain cell is mostly focused on what weird thing can we do next? What crimes can this brain cell commit? And most importantly, can they be funny crimes? They have to be funny crimes. Not the same if they're not funny crimes. Birdley's like, I'm the coolest. And Susie's like, shut up. But yeah, I do like Susie and Chris being little weirdos. Oh yeah, I imagine that they will be close friends by the end of the game. I'm worried that something might throw a wrench into that for part of it. I know people often like kind of think that with Toriel, but I don't think it's gonna play out the same way that we did things with Noelle. There might be other ways that we can explore, like what if you break the game and you do something weird and creepy kind of thing. Although I am pretty sure that at least Toriel's going to come away from this being like, oh yeah, this was definitely a dream. And I can't help feeling like Chris was trying to set this up to like tell an adult that, you know, dark worlds are real. There's a dark world. It's real. See? It's real. So I'm pretty sure they encountered that before when they were young and tried to tell adults, and adults just like, yeah, whatever, Chris, you're imagining things. But I don't think it's going to work in this case because it's going to be too easy to be like, oh no, that was a dream. And, you know, Susie almost told Noelle about it. She was very close to it. But I don't think she'd be willing to be like, oh yeah, Toriel, this wasn't a dream, this is real. Like, she would absolutely hide that from more authority figures. So Chris would be working against that. I think they're trying to tell an adult about this kind of stuff, but it's not going to work. Or if it does work, it's not going to work in this chapter. That's a friendly Rousey. Not going to get your soul at all. Yeah. Oh, no, the crickets are too loud. Actually, I think there might be one in her tank that's going off. Because there was one that got away. I'm not trying to feed it to her. And it might be, like, chirping in her tank now. I don't know. Yeah, that'll be interesting. On the one hand, I can see, you know, Azrael being like, oh, yay, Chris, you made a friend. That's so great. I'm so happy that you're coming out of your shell. On the other hand, being like, but you were beaten up, Chris. And on the other hand, being like, oh, wow. Look at this hot dragon. Azrael, were you really into dragons? Immodestly dressed purple dragons. I mean, to be fair, pretty much everybody's into Susie, so, you know, he ain't alone on that. Yeah, no, it would be very interesting to see what Azrael thinks of Susie. Probably also depends on, like, what position they're in by the end of the, by the time he comes home. Whenever in game that is. I feel pretty confident in saying that it's going to eventually become a thing. Honestly, like, it's farther along just in Chapter 2 than I was expecting. I was expecting, like, an even slower burn than, you know, what's actually happening in canon. Because they do seem to like each other. And I feel like, I don't know, like, people will always kind of play up the, you know, the Ferris wheel scene. And it's like, oh, you know, it doesn't mean anything, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, well, think about what actually happens in the Ferris wheel scene. Is that, you know, Susie is pretty eager to rescue Noelle in any case. Like, she definitely volunteers herself for that. And then when they're on the Ferris wheel, you know, they're both kind of nervous about it. And then they end up just kind of talking about themselves and, you know, what their thoughts and hopes and stuff are. And then by the end of the Ferris wheel, they're like, okay, I feel more comfortable. that's really all that happens, is that they start out being nervous. They're alone with each other. During that time, they talk to each other about, you know, who they are as people and stuff. And then by the end, they're like, okay, I'm feeling comfortable now. Like, that is kind of ideal relationship stuff. That is the healthy way things should go. Like, completely ignoring all the, you know, heart-covered stuff. They just have a basic, nice conversation, getting to know each other. So if given more of those opportunities, I think then they'll, you know, start to edge toward each other more. And yeah, with Asriel and Susie, it kind of just depends, I guess, under what circumstances he meets her. And especially also what Chris says, I think, too. That'll make a difference. Because I think if Chris is the one who's like, no, I'm standing up for her, you know, I'm going to defend her, then Asriel will take that seriously. That he would trust Chris on that. Because everybody else is kind of like, man, why do you keep hanging, like clearly that Susie mostly just picks on Chris. Like, Chris is the one that she's been, like, scarily violent towards the most. And yet, this is not bothered by this. And everybody else is kind of like, man, what's going on with, you know, Chris? They're not bothered by Susie bullying them at all. I guess it depends on how that is eventually resolved and why Chris is okay with Susie's actions. So it seems like Susie bullying them never quite bothered them, even though they also probably tried to avoid it since, you know, Susie brings up the, oh, you always like to run away kind of thing. At the same time, did not tell an adult about it. So there's going to be some reasons for that. It'll be interesting to see, like, what kind of things Chris feels like they should tell an adult about versus what they really should feel like they should not. Because it does seem like people are like, oh, you know, you should, Susie is really being mean to you. You should tell an adult about it. And they just don't. So what are the reasons? I don't know, well, the reasons are your dumb antlers are too small to draw. Also, I think it's gonna kind of like, it's supposed to be. I'm not following the guide very closely. Ugh, that's a mess. I have heard of that one, yes. I went even further than that in a comic and suggested that Susie is half human. That's a bit of a crack theory because there's not really evidence to support it. I just think that would be a really interesting way to deal with, like, her, you know, angst about herself and her feelings towards, of animosity towards Chris. But yeah, I can certainly buy the theory that she is from a human town and was the only monster there. She seems to have some odd ideas about how things are. She seems to focus only on Chris and just does not like them. Or at least at the start, doesn't like them. That's why I would really just like to know a bit more about, you know, the society of the greater world. And like, okay, how do humans here normally live? How do monsters here normally live? Yeah, that would be a wild, wild plot twist. I did a whole comic on that, and I just thought, oh, this would be really interesting. It's probably not going to happen, because there's not evidence for it. But it would be a wild plot twist. Yeah, that's true. It is supposed to be on a smaller scale. It's probably only going to reveal as much about the wider world as is relevant to, you know, the characters and their arcs. And the rest we'll just not know. That is a good question. I mean, maybe. Who knows? Definitely, they seems like they can be in relationships to each other, with each other, considering, you know, one of Chris's pop-ups is monsters for humans in your area. So, at the very least, it seems like they can date. Whether they can have kids is another matter. And what those kids would be like is also another matter. But either way, I think, like, in terms of, like, all monster souls and bodies are very different. I think that in what they call hybrids, I don't really like that word. They might be just, half human, half monster. Might use whatever, label is best for them. Hybrid feels like a bit of a clinical word. I'm not sure what they would use in that situation. Oh, we're getting too small here. We're getting teeny beany. But at least it seems like to me that in the Deltarune universe, that there is no material difference between human and monster souls like there is in Undertale. That for all intents and purposes, they have the same kind of souls. Chimera is a cool word, although it also doesn't quite mean the same. Like, chimera actually has a meaning for people in real life. Although I guess it could have that meaning to them too. Made up of disparate parts, basically. And we're almost done. They're getting too small. So it does seem kind of weird how they've been very vague on how, like, blood works for monsters in Deltarune. Yeah, exactly. It's this kind of thing, like, whenever people try and apply, like, the soul power thing between monsters and humans in Deltarune, I'm like, but it doesn't work. It's not the same world here. The rules, like, if the same rules applied, I just don't think we would have the same kind of world that we do in Deltarune. And it would take away from, like, where the real focus is, which is the difference between lightners and darkners, as opposed to the difference between humans and monsters. Like, I feel like the reason why we have these major differences between humans and monsters in Undertale is because that is super relevant, to the plot. Basically, the plot is driven by the engine of human and monster souls being different. So if that was the case also in Deltarune, then that would also have to be the engine of the plot, and it takes away from, what is going on with the Darkners. Yeah, very different magic system. Basically, I think that in Deltarune, the differences between monsters and humans are largely physiological and cultural. So basically, I think the purpose of Chris being raised by monsters in Deltarune is to emphasize that they feel like they are alone, that they are isolated, and that they don't quite belong in this community. Not to be like, okay, and also their souls are different, and humans can steal the monster souls, or vice versa. Like, that's a distraction. That's Undertale. We've got other stuff we're dealing with in Deltarune. Yeah, they got different magic systems. Doesn't seem like they have a magic system in, like, the light world, or that basically if they have magic, it's the same way that, like, we have magic, in that it's like, oh, it's occult stuff, it's spells, it's not, an inherent part of your biology or anything. It is a curiosity you can learn, but is probably not real kind of thing. We're walking away. Because otherwise, I'm sure that Noah would be like, I'm going to go learn a heal spell to heal my dad of his illness. Like, she wishes she could. Fireplay! And also it seems like basically the magic, Undertale has a bit more of a unique system to it, being based on basically bullet patterns and monsters' emotions and all that stuff. Whereas in Deltarune, the magic system is more like a traditional RPG kind of magic, where it's like you have a spell you can cast, and generally you want your spellcaster who is skilled at casting spells to cast the spells. So a magic system that is more typical of RPGs. Which makes sense. Alright, and then once this page is done, we'll do another quick break to stretch. And then we can go do some fills. I guess if what Susie's reaction would be, I think that depends on how Susie feels about herself in a lot of ways. Because I think it's quite clear that she has some kind of interest in Noelle. She definitely speaks about and acts about Noelle in ways that indicate she has some kind of interest. I think that her issue is that she is, has a much harder time dealing with that herself. I think that one of Susie's big problems is that she refuses to let herself be vulnerable. And part of an issue is that if you get in a relationship with somebody, you have to let some part of yourself be vulnerable. Especially with Noelle, because I think what Noelle is doing for Susie, how Noelle is helping Susie, is that she is teaching Susie it's okay for you to be vulnerable. Like, I feel like, if you were going to use the, princess and hero metaphor for them, and, Noelle is the princess and Susie is the hero or whatever, basically, Susie is the one who is teaching Noelle how to save herself. And Noelle is the one teaching Susie that it is okay to need to be saved, is how I would put it. I wonder how the post-pacifist world from Undertale. I mean, that depends. A lot of people have, interpreted that in very different ways. I like to think that things would go better because Flowey kind of says things are going to go better, and I think that's supposed to be kind of like your hint to be like, leave things as they are because things are okay now. This feels like a video essay, and also I draw horrible scaries for you. Ideal stuff. Honestly, I feel like I should make like a video essay sometime on Suzelle. Like, Suzelle is good actually, and here's why, or something. Because I feel like that what that ship gets a lot of is like, basically people were like, oh, it's cute, and oh, it's probably going to be canon, and those things are true, or at least I think those things are true. But nobody really kind of gives it the time of day in terms of like, how would this actually be good character development for them? How would this be interesting and good for the characters? Like, usually people are like, oh, it's boring. Oh, it'd be way more interesting if it didn't happen. And I'm like, no, actually, I think this would be interesting and good, and a sense of character development for them both. So part of me wants to essay about, not just from the perspective of, oh, it's cute, oh, it's probably canon, oh, blah, 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 but why, like, them being in a relationship would be, like, good character development for them, basically. Because I feel like that kind of aspect often gets overlooked. Oh, geez, I need some time for that. I've never done a video essay before. That's terrifying. Part of me wants to do it, and part of me is like, oh, it's terrifying. Yeah, a lot of people still dismiss the ship. Some people were being kind of assholes in the ship tag on Tumblr. I'm like, oh my goodness, shut up. This is not the place for your ship hate. Don't do it in tags. Don't be an ass. I don't even have any problems with any other ships, really. Yeah. Alright, I'll be right back for one more stretch. Coming back. But yeah, the thing that kind of bothers me about it is people being like, oh, Susie does not feel that way about Noelle. And I'm like, okay, there's a lot of hints in Chapter 2 that, yes, she does. Like, way more than I was expecting. Yeah. And, like, people can, you know, people can ship even the stuff that I find gross. Just, like, don't do it in my direction. You know? Tag your stuff, please. And all that stuff. Alright, what we're going to do next, I think there's special lines here that we have to do all the stuff in acid. So I'm going to do those fills now. Because they need to get done. I've started some of the fills on this, but we haven't done like the acid stuff yet, so I'm going to do that. There's a lot of acid going on in this part, basically. Too much acid. Queen you up. Too much acid going on here. Basically, people are allowed to ship what they want, even the stuff that I find gross. Just again, if I find it gross, please don't do it near me. Warn for that stuff. 5 ads. Now that's gross. Now that's a ship I cannot get behind. Goodness gracious. Yeah, it's also not important for most of them to fit canon. That's fine. Actually, I think I should probably do this behind character line as well, now that I think about it. Okay, we'll do that there. Oh yeah, definitely with Susie, I think she really wants friends. That's what she ultimately wants. She acts like she doesn't want them. She acts like she doesn't need them, but she does. And that is why, again, that is part of why I think Suzelle is good for her, because again, I think somebody needs to teach Susie that it is okay to be vulnerable. And while Chris is a great friend for Susie, and I think a necessary part of, you know, Susie's development is going to be Chris's friendship, I don't think that's something that Chris is equipped to teach Susie. And it's something that she needs. So she needs Chris's friendship to be like, hey, you are loved and accepted the way you are. We like the fact that, you know, you are, you know, the way you are you, even though you're rough and angry and big-headed and all that stuff. We like you as you are. And also, she needs to learn, hey, you have to be okay with being vulnerable and opening yourself up to that kind of thing. They all deserve friends. Life's hard when you're a teenager and you don't have friends. Well, life's hard at all if you don't have friends. But especially for poor Chris, who's feeling isolated, and Susie, who's also feeling isolated, and, you know, DoorDash can deliver flowers. Lots of stuff. Yeah, all kinds of ships out there for whatever tickles your fancy. Bros before hoes. No. I do think one thing that is bothering me about Susie is the fact that she has omitted from Noelle that the Dark Worlds are real. I feel like this is one thing of hers that is really going to come back to bite her. that I mean, she was like about to tell Noelle anyway, and then Birdly interrupted. But I feel like the fact that she is keeping the fact that the Dark Worlds are real from Noelle, even after, by the end of chapter 2, is not good. This is going to come back to bite her big time. Something is going to happen because of it. She should have been honest with Noelle about that. That bothers me more than anything else. Like, that feels like more of a threat to their relationship than anything else people have brought up, is the fact that Susie was not honest about that. She needs to be honest about that. Okay, where else? I think we're mostly focusing on the acid parts for Queen. So that's how we'll do that with these next pages. Like, Susie, you need to be more honest and sincere. Yeah, exactly. Like, the fact she's like, if he puts stuff in danger, it's like, oh, it doesn't matter, it's just a dream. Not good. Yeah, like, just for the sake of her safety, and probably the safety of quite a few other people, I think it's going to be really important for Noelle to know the Dark Worlds are real. And, Susie, that's not a good thing for you to keep that from her. Birdly Chris is funny. I will say that. Even if I don't ship it, I'm like, you know what? You guys have fun with that. That would be funny. For the lulz is a good reason for things. Often. Not always, but most of the time. I'm like, Noelle, it's not a dream. Me, Walter White, screaming at Noelle from the car meme or whatever. The violent shipping wars will be powerless to do anything about. Oh no! Birdly / everyone! Oh no! How did this happen? That's what happens in Birdly's world. Everybody is just falling over themselves for Birdly. And he'll be like, and yet, I feel so empty. And suddenly it's Breaking Bad. Ain't that always the way? I've never actually seen Breaking Bad. I've only seen the memes. I'm sorry. I don't know what it is beyond the memes. Breaking Bird. It's Breaking Birdly. Not a hard thing to do. Oh, I would love that. That would be pretty cool. That would be extremely funny. So he's like, wait, that worked? Huh? And then it's all awkward. But it would be funny. Oh, good for Murder Drones. I haven't seen Murder Drones, though. That's by, same people that did, Digital Circus, isn't it? I think so. Memes hit. Yeah, that's true. Hit most of the story beats. Okay. Glad for that. Okay. So much independent animation I could probably check out at some point. I do like me that. There is apparently more than one duck song. What the heck is this? Don't crop. I don't want to crop. Oh, no wonder I'm doing this wrong. I clicked the wrong button. I'm like, what is going on? Crop? No. I don't know about the duck song. I only know about the llama song. Alright, we're working on Queen's acid stuff. Open page 2. Okay. Ooh. Oh, there's so many songs that I've never heard of. it away. Okay, that makes sense. Same studio, different production teams. Cool. I'm surprised they had enough for a studio. Goodness gracious. Different teams? That's a lot. Independent animation is taking off. Queen drank too much acid. She's got acid face everywhere. She's just brimming with it. And she's fine. She's like, you know, GLaDOS. Try the deadly neurotoxin. It'll be fine. I'm gonna have to go through and do like special outlines for the acid stuff anyway as well. Change it to some color. Oh darn, I'm sorry about your internet. That's extremely annoying. I should probably upgrade my internet and get a faster upload speed. My download speed is pretty decent, but I think my upload speed is not the best. No, she is... No, she's fine, see? She's just trapped to the ground like all the other bound gods. And she's gonna say silly, silly lines. At least I hope they're silly. I realized this is the first time I've ever written Queen. And I was like, oh my goodness. She's actually kind of hard to write. Like, she's so funny in canon, and it's kind of hard to get her, like, sense of humor. So I hope I got some little inkling of that in whatever way we got. Alright, good luck on your walk. Well, playing for better internet's probably not going to give you better internet depending on the service for it. Oh yeah, Owl House finale. That kind of big, this was described on TV Tropes. I don't remember the name for it, but it's like that really big kind of skeletal figure that's, I think, in like Japanese mythology shows up a bit. Queen has a British voice. I'm not sure what kind of voice she has. I don't think it was called a Yakulzi. I think it was called something else. It starts with like a G. It's like Gendo something. I don't remember what it is. But basically, like, it's this Japanese, you know, demon or creature or something that's just like giant skeleton, like really honking big skeleton. It's like kind of stuck in the ground or coming out of the ground or something like that. There was one of those in Kubo and the Two Strings. That was it. Gasha Dokuro. Gasha Dokuro. That's what I was thinking of. Yeah, she got kind of like that alien queen thing going on. Or it's kind of like a merging of like her, you know, her regular form and her giga size robot. It's super big. Super duper big. And spiky. Like, I have captured this bird. It's too noisy. Now I know what to do with it now. That's on me. I'm trying to remember that word. Gasha Dokuro. Gosh, I'm probably pronouncing it super wrong. Mac? What Mac? I'm not on a Mac. I'm on a PC. My Mac is sitting unused in my room. Intended to be given away, but I don't know when I'm ever going to do that. Some distant day when I'm pretty much forced to. Unless anybody here wants a free iMac. That's several years old at this point. Actually, probably like a decade old at this point, now that I think about it. Got all of that for her. Hopefully this combo of colors will look okay. I have to do shading for her and all that. Alright, let's open number 3. I'm still working on this boba. Yeah, she has more Papyrus's jaw going on, I think. If she looks like any skeleton, it's Papyrus. What did I like about Mac? They were fine. They were good. They were pretty solid in terms of like graphics and all that. Usability, I think they were fine. Like honestly, I feel like there's not that much of a big difference between them, except that like if something goes wrong with your Mac, it's kind of more of a pain in the butt to fix it because they don't really sell the parts separately. They're designed to all kind of be put together. But like in terms of actually using one, they're fine. They're good. They work out well. Yeah, the main problem, well, the thing is, you know, there are plenty of other computer companies that are jerks too. Apple is just, you know, makes being a jerk kind of part of the brand. How would ER Susie feel about Noelle's feelings towards her? She's pretty open to them, as we've seen in some of the doodles that have popped up. I think she has less hang-ups about being liked by Noelle than Canon Susie does. It's like, oh, this other beast admires me and thinks I'm cool. I can roll with that. I think she's cool. Literally. Wah, wah, wah. Yeah, that's pretty much the deal with Apple is like, products pretty good. You know, at least none of them are seriously worse than PC products, but in terms of like upkeep and maintenance, they're a pain in the butt. Right to repair and all that. They make it really hard. You have to basically go through their hoops to repair stuff. If you're gonna try an Apple product, just try an iPhone. They're fine. That's like, even though I switched to a PC for my main computer, I'm still using an iPhone for my phone, and I'll probably keep doing that. Otherwise, I miss like iPods and stuff like that. Those were kind of neat. Now everything's on the phone, so they don't have iPods anymore. Like my family all uses Apple products because I started using basically like my first personal computer was a those old iMacs that had like the clear, you know, plastic see-through things. Like I got the first generation of those new iMacs, and they were considered like the coolest new computer around. Like they were, you know, shiny and cool and powerful. So that was like my first personal computer, and all of my family kind of ended up getting Macs because of that, and they just never stopped. Yeah, I don't like the facial recognition stuff anyway. I don't use facial recognition for that. I have a password for my phone only. That's it. I don't want Apple be looking at my face just to unlock my phone. I'll just enter my password. But you will never know. The Apple ecosystem. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't really like that Face ID stuff. I'm just not fond of it. Yeah, exactly. Like the whole like competitive nature thing of it is, I think, kind of overhyped. They are both fine at what they do. They're both not very consumer friendly. Just again, the thing with Apple is that they make being not consumer friendly more a part of their brand, and that's annoying. The password is password. It is defo not 1, 2, 3, 4, especially since it's 6 digits. I don't think they do 4 digits anymore. Yeah, anti-consumer is probably the term for it. It is not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 either. You will not guess it. I will not tell it to you. But Queen will try and guess it because she's nasty mean. And she's like, I want to know your secrets. Show me your web browser history. We don't even have web browsers here. What's a web? I don't know. Spiders spin it. What is this internet you speak of? She would love the internet, though. She's like, wow, look at all the cool ways you can spy on people and learn all their dirty, dirty secrets. That's amazing. What does the 2468 mean? Who do we appreciate? Oh, ha 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 ha. Good old enter that into the calculator and turn it upside down and show your friends. Haha, look what I made in the calculator. I remember trying to spell all kinds of things in the calculator. Like, of course you spell boobies and all that, but like, what were some other things I tried to spell? Like, your range is pretty limited. But there were some options. Man, some of my high school math, we used graphing calculators. I don't know if people still use those anymore, but it was like calculators specifically for doing more advanced math. And, you know, you could program a game on them if you were very smart and cool. I'm glad you think so. Again, I feel like it was kind of hard to pin down her character, so hopefully we got in a decent approximation of her. I worry so much that I'm getting Toriel wrong in Eldritchrune, and I'm like, oh, it's really hard to justify her doing the cult thing, because she is very particular about, you know, don't hurt the children, I'm going to be mad if you hurt the children. But that is also how she is in Undertale, and we know a little less about her in Deltarune, and how she acts there. Although I imagine she is, of course, along similar lines. So you could be both. You could both write the boobies and play the doomies on your calculator. Didn't they, like, figure out how to play Doom on, like, gut bacteria or something? You can play Doom on anything. They're gonna be like, we learned how to play Doom by growing, like, pea pods or something. Everybody makes the boobies on the calculators. That's just like a rite of passage. Hello, thanks for coming. But can it run Doom? That is a timeless question. Yeah, making boobies in your calculator is kind of like the same thing as, like, you know, the S that you all draw. Like, everybody does it. You do that without question. Because you just end up doing it. This queen energy. It means titty. That was like one of those lines that made me just laugh so hard. I could not deal with it. I don't like bosom. It means titty. I think when I was streaming that with my friends, we just like had to pause for like 2 minutes to laugh because it was so funny. What can't run Doom, and how can we make it do it anyway, though? Worthy goals. Wow, you can even do it in Danish. Amazing. Alright, I'm glad you joined as well. We're being silly. Also, Chris, what's going on with your hair here? I think I might have missed something there. I'll have to go up and fix that later. It's Queen. She brings out the silly, silly conversations. One thing I do wonder about future Deltarune stuff is how the recruitment mechanic is going to figure in, because I feel like that's going to be more important than we know. Yay, I'm glad I'm nice background stuff for you. I think I'm going to have to do some of the acid stuff down here. I forgot when I'm supposed to take my break again. No. At least this is going a lot faster than previous. Yay, happy to provide you with silly, silly background sound. Seems to impact items you can buy in Sham's shop for now. I wonder how that will change. What we'll be able to do in the future with it. And I really do wonder about the Shadow Mantle thing. It's like, you can't beat the next boss without the Shadow Mantle. Where is it? Oh no, lost forever, you're doomed. Like, what we do with that, I do not know. Okay, probably stop soon for another stretch, but we'll keep going a little longer. It's important to listen to Calculator Booby during work hours. Very important. Guess we're zooming through this a lot faster than usual. But yeah, I feel like the whole recruitment thing is going to play kind of a bigger part than people expect. Like, especially like if you don't recruit anybody, and then Queen is like, "Where is everyone?" And then she's like really sad if like she's the only one there. Gotta mean something. Especially since I think it's like the save point of the book or whatever is like, what will happen if you recruit them all? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And it's also a mechanic they added after chapter 1, so You can recruit some enemies after Snowgrave, but I guess you can't recruit all of them. There's probably at least some you're going to have to kill off. In Inverse No Mercy. Reasons to recruit. Task Manager. It's like the reward is your feeling of personal satisfaction. You did it all. Big, scary Queen pose here. Not as any AA game ever. Ugh. You know, now they're trying to be like, now it's quadruple A games. I'm like, that means nothing. Shush. Shush about that. Uh-oh, I hear a thing going by. There goes the ambulances. A's are for batteries only. Why quadruple A games? To be like, this is why the game is gonna cost $80. It has to cost $80 because we spent $80 million making it. We didn't make a good $80 million game, but we did do that. So now you have to pay $80 for it. And that's totally justified. To which I say, heck off with that. I mean, the whole thing about AAA games is really nothing to do with, like, quality. It's budget. It's basically, these are big budget games. You can only recruit, mouse, wheel, task manager, and wear wire during Snowgrave. That kind of unaborted Snowgrave, I imagine. That makes sense, because I figure after that, you know, you've killed all the ambulances and all of the Vero-Coons. They're just little viruses living their little virus lives. With their cute little virus spears. Giving your computers cute little colds. Yeah, Skull and Bones is one of those. Cautionary tales that publishers will not listen to. Please give your artists time to make stuff and pay them for it. Do it. Also, what happened to the... Where's the line? Apparently I didn't draw the line there. That's a problem. Might have to go back and fix that. Where'd the line go? No, don't get computer COVID, no! Okay, we're just gonna pretend the line is there for now. Yeah, exactly. It's not any indicator of quality, it's an indicator of budget spent on it. Yeah, I'm not really sure, at least in terms of, like, graphical ability. I'm not certain where they would go from here, or where they need to go from here. There's often only so much you can absorb in terms of graphics anyway. Acid is everywhere. And indie games have their fair share of issues too. But I think if they do anything, it proves that, like, okay, you don't actually need a big budget to make a success. Especially not, you do not need a big budget to make decent art. Should especially be a takeaway from that. Although what you do need is skilled artists and time. As they say, you can have it cheap, you can have it fast, you can have it good, but you can't get all three. Skyward Sword or something. Yeah, exactly. There's something to be said of just like, if you limit the tools you have and are not just have infinite budget and ability. Oh yeah, we can stop here anyway. Well, not stop for good, but at least stop this page. I gotta stretch. Yeah, basically when you have like limits on what you can do, you learning how to work around those limits can generate some really good ideas and some really strong results. Limitations are helpful to you. And oftentimes, like, if you don't have those limitations, if you have like, yeah, exactly, if you have like unlimited budget and stuff, what you kind of end up doing is just, you know, going hog wild. So you can be like, oh, I can do this, and this, and this. And it's like, but why are you doing this? What does this add to it? Yeah, boy, oh boy, there's a lot of so-called economists that are like, we should be able to get infinite growth for a finite budget. That's how that works, right? No. Nope. Also, I know the characters are kind of blending into the background here so far, but once I go through and put in some extra layers, they'll be popping out more. Just putting down the base stuff for now. And I think Queen is kind of like the same color as the background, so she's blended in the most. Nope, you cannot make a game that is everything and also good. That is true of any art. If it is everything, it's probably not going to be good. You will inevitably not be able to reach all of humanity. What about Minecraft? I don't think Minecraft is everything. Certainly the big thing that Minecraft sacrificed was graphic fidelity. They're like, okay, forget graphics, these are going to be cubes. And that limitation was to its benefit. Yeah, that's true. People do that. That's true of a lot of things outside of games as well. Yeah. Oh yeah, FMVs. Those were an interesting time. I wonder why people don't do that anymore. What is Minecraft not game-wise? I mean, I don't play Minecraft, so I can't speak to that. Minecraft round. Alright, be right back. It just not round. And I'm returning. Yeah, I want the rest of my bobas. Come to me, bobas. That's exactly right. Being everything is a problem. You have created the problem yourself. Now, what are we on? Page 5? Let's go. Boink, boink. Yeah, I've never actually played Minecraft. Oh, wow. Where's the background on this? It's right here, I guess. And yeah, like, you can mod anything, you know, with enough time and stuff. That doesn't mean it's necessarily part of the game. Okay. Special base here. You modded Minecraft to be round. Now what's happening? You madman! What has science done? Round Minecraft. That is many hours. I'm not even sure how many hours that is. That's like a few years probably? I don't know. Maybe not. That's the next mod I want to see. Minecraft, but I made it round. But he's like, you monster! What has science wrought? It's just like all the same blocks as before, but now they're round, so nothing corners together. Textures are very weird on them. So 8,765 is a year, of course. So not quite a year. Like 3 months then? That's still a lot. A lot of Minecraft. When I was that age, I was playing with Legos. That was my Minecraft. Yeah. That's a lot of Binding of Isaac as well. You made my gay meter go up. That was good times. Need to do another Jackbox game night sometime on the server. It would be funny. Okay. Oh shoot, this is like actually no, this is fine. We can do this like this way. The acid is bubbling. Oh, 10 frames per second. Ow. Ooh. That would be painful. That would hurt. And again, that was kind of like how we used to download videos back in the day. It's like, you're going to get this playing at like 3 frames a second. And you're going to like it. I wish I had some Legos. Man, somebody on like my Blue Sky feed was showing they were putting together this big like Lego set that was like I don't know, like a log like a wilderness cabin or something, and these like really elaborate sets with all these complicated pieces, and I was like, oh, that looks so relaxing and fun. Why do these things have to be like $200 a set? You wouldn't download a Lego. Like, I feel like I was in a toy store once and I was like, oh man, I should get a Lego set. I really miss having Legos, and the smallest ones are like $80. I'm like, oh, gosh darn. Also, the problem is like you have to build it once, then you kind of don't want to disassemble it. You wouldn't download a Lego car. I sure as heck would download a Lego car. Okay, where do special lines start? Kind of around here-ish. They've got long, upsetting fingers. Oh dear. Oh, that would be freaky. I would not like a dream like that. I'd be like, oh, brain, why? Why did you show me these images? Brain's like, lol, I don't know. Don't let Susie be a horrible experiment in a factory laboratory gone wrong. Oh, there's a D&D Lego set? Oh, that sounds fun. Well, see, that sounds like a nice dream. I don't think I've had any Deltarune dreams, at least none that I remember. None that stood out to me as like, oh, this was the Deltarune dream. I wish I could. That would be a much nicer one than I usually have. I don't know, brains be weird. Brains be weird. They're just like, I'm just gonna remix all this stuff in a way that doesn't make sense. Ice Crease Spray mod. I never played Binding of Isaac. That game looks hard. That game looks the kind of game that like I would just like absolutely suck at. Then again, I'd probably suck at Hollow Knight too, and I wouldn't mind giving that a try. Okay, where is the... Do that again. Need more space to build Lego stuff. Used to be when I was a kid, we didn't really have that much in the way of sets, so we had like really basic Lego sets. Like we had like, you know, the castle and I don't know, you know, that classic one with the pirate and, or the, you know, knight and the ghost and whatever. And the crow on it. I want a dream that I meet Asriel at college and we have coffee and we're friends. I want cool dreams like that. Biohazard level expired ketchup packets. Deadly. That is true. I guess that is the point of roguelites. You suck at the games you haven't played. I did play Hades though, and I really liked Hades. Hades was fun. But also, like, I eventually turned on, like, God mode for that, and that helped because it felt like, as opposed to like, oh, suddenly the game is easy. It's like, okay, you've gradually made the game a little bit easier every time you die. Like, that felt like a nice progression to me. So I'm excited for Hades, too. Yeah, we had, like, a lot of basic Legos back in the day. We had, like, 2 big tubs of them. And my brother and I would get them out and go to the playroom, which was, like, this big family, or, like, living room in the middle of the house. And just dump out both boxes of these Legos and just cover the floor in them. Really make this into, like, you know, danger space if you're going to step around it. And, you know, just kind of dig through everything and build all the stuff we wanted. What am I missing here? Why? I don't have that one. I'm going to have to go back and fix that. Weird. Weird, 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 weird. I'm trying to think if I've seen the pre-minifig Lego figurines. Maybe. But I think when I was growing up, we did still have the minifigs, just like very generic, basic ones. You know, they didn't have a lot of variety to them. But they were still like the ones you think of when you think of a Lego minifig. Just like generic Chris Dreamer skin person. Simpsons yellow going on. That's weird. That's the kind of thing I would have associated with, like, Playmobil a bit more. Okay, I'm gonna fill this in because this is bothering me. It's bothering me! I'm bothered! I'm bothered! Fill this stuff in! Be filled with proper fillings. Acid battery pie. Got the mismatched minifigs. Try saying that 5 times fast. Mismatched minifigs. Mismatched minifigs. Mismatched mini. Ugh, hard. That's a hard tongue twister. Try that one. Mismatched minifigs. Mismatched minifigs. Mismatched minifigs. Blah 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 blah. Mismatched guinea pigs. Close enough. Lego-ified Playmobil figures. We did have some Playmobil, but apparently Playmobil were like the more expensive option compared to Legos. I wonder if that's still the case. We had like an Oregon Trail set of Playmobil. So we were like, we're gonna take our Playmobil on the Oregon Trail. We go up at the top of the hill in our yard, and then they're going down, and then... Wait, what was in a H-Bomber Guy video? Also, he's like, oh, hello, Chris. Are you trying to Shadow of the Colossus me? I don't see what link you're talking about now. Sorry. Yeah, we had some Playmobil that were like Oregon Trail, so we would do Oregon Trail and with our Playmobil, and they're like, oh, they're on the Oregon Trail. Oh no, they're trying to ford the river and they can't, and oh, they turned on the hose and they washed away part of their cattle and then they died of dysentery. Yeah, this is a good remix. Nice one of Scarlet Forest. Yeah, it's hard. Hard to find time for it. They're expensive. It seems like they've definitely gotten a lot more, like, specific than from when I was a kid. Yeah, like, you can reply to people's comments, but we didn't know what video you were talking about. I do like Scarlet Forest a bit. It's got an interesting kind of vibe to it. Compared to the more frenetic Field of Hopes and Dreams, which that was a good you know area music to start off, and it's like, here we go, you're gonna have fun now, bum 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 bum. Nice. I think the closest thing I have to Legos in my thing right now is somebody gifted me a FNAF Foxy little Lego set of, you know, like the quote-unquote 8-bit versions of Foxy. Although, it really bothers me that, like, when I look closely at all the FNAF 8-bits, I'm like, this doesn't actually follow 8 bits logic. You just drew this with squares and called it 8-bit. It's not what it actually looks like. Ah! But I have one of those ones of Foxy that I assembled, and they weren't Legos exactly. They were like knockoff versions of the bricks, but that's probably the closest thing. It wasn't a FNAF Lego set. It was like knockoff Legos, and it was like just Foxy. It was just 8-bit Foxy. So it was definitely not hundreds of dollars. It was not that much. Wait, what uses more than 4 colors, including transparent? I don't know what that is. Oh yeah, there's tons of Lego knockoffs around there. You can tell just like in how the bricks fit together that they don't feel quite the same. It's a really hard thing to describe. It's like a tactile thing. But you can tell when a Lego is like not a Lego because it's like this doesn't snap together in the way a Lego is supposed to. If it was McFarlane... Yeah, maybe. It did bother me, though, once I realized that the 8-bit characters in FNAF are not actually 8-bit. They're just drawn with squares. Okay, that's not what I got. Because they were not hundreds of dollars. They are not from McFarlane. And again, it was one character. It's 8-bit Foxy. That's it. I think it was like $30. Not super expensive. Kobe. I have not heard of those. That's fascinating. Now, I always admire people that can like do model kit sets. Like we had some of those as a kid. I don't remember what they were for. I think it was like a Gundam or something. But we had some model kit set, and we were trying to put those together, but all the little pieces made it like really tricky, and us little kids were like, "This is kind of intimidating. I don't think we can finish it. Never mind. Bye bye." Ooh, Legoland. Yeah, I want to go to like a big Lego thing that has like, here's all the bricks you can get in these very specific colors. You can make your own set of stuff. Like, that's always cool. Okay, that's page 5. Let's open 6. Might be catching up on what I've done in terms of stuff here too. Interesting. Boba! Stop getting stuck at the bottom of the boba thing. Come to me. Okay. Now we're doing a little bit more of this. Actually, I think, no, we have to do this on top. Probably not for Chris, though. We can do it here. No, we do need to do this on top of Chris's as well. Boba ASMR. That's pretty cool. Chris is trying to Shadow of the Colossus it out, but it may not work. Grief. This part took so long just to rough out because I spent extra time trying to get the proportions and posing all correct, and it was a little bit nuts. Hopefully the shading doesn't kill it. We'll see how that goes. That's another part I struggle with, is the shading part. I think the closest thing I got to one of those Lego stores that you know, has the ones where you can pick all the different bricks was at Disneyland. They had a big Lego store there. They had, like, you know, Lego Woody and Lego Dragon Maleficent and all that good stuff. Tiny hands or tweezers. Oof. I'd just like to assemble a little scene. I think we should all have a day where it's like, you just have to assemble together a little scene made out of little bricks. And that'll heal the world. Please let us build a little scene out of small pieces. My brother can practically do that for his job. Well, kind of. Am I making an Undertale Eldritchrune comic in 2024 without Undertale Yellow references? Bum, 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 bum. Maybe. Actually, Clover might get a brief reference in a future part. Maybe. But I don't even know if I'll say the name. It's kind of like an insinuation there. So Clover might be briefly referenced. Maybe. I honestly considered putting in, like, Soroba or something, and I was like, oh, okay, no, I can skip that for now. But I think the whole thing is that the Undertale Yellow cast would just be humans here. Because they would be from the light world. And they'd be NPCs. As you do. But yeah, it is really funny how, like, quickly, you know, people have just kind of accepted, okay, now we have to incorporate Undertale Yellow into the, you know, backdrop here. I think the thing is they would be the next one after Chris. Because then Mayor Holiday's reasoning is, oh, well, fine, we need to find a child that's willing to sacrifice themselves. Well, look what Clover did in the game, so, you know. Works out. Can't wait for Soroba to be in Chapter 5. Oh, goodness. I definitely do not think that Toby is going to put any Undertale references in Deltarune. Yeah, that's like, oh, that kind of works out kind of well. So I think if there is a mention of Clover, it would be in the context of we're getting another sacrifice and we're going to get one that's willing to do it, willing to self-sacrifice. So, wah, that'd be Clover. But it depends on if that comes up in the conversation at any point in a comic. And then people can Leo meme point and be like, whoa, I know who that is. It's like, yes, you do. There's a lot of acid going on in this part. And originally I was going to be like, oh, maybe I can have, like, Soroba or something be giving some advice to Asriel, but I think I'm going to change that to, Papyrus is the one giving it instead. So we can have a Papyrus and, Asriel conversation. Which would be interesting. But I've got to write that. And that would be tricky. Figure out all the dialogue for that. 'Cause Papyrus, another one, I'm like, oh, Papyrus is kind of hard to write. Clover gonna be accompanied by a funny little flower. Wearing a weird hat. I'm like, when would cowboys exist in this time? I don't think that cowboys would have existed then here, so I think Clover would just be like a, you know, another stable hand, horse trainer or something like that. I don't know. Something with horses. That's what cowboys do. Hello. Thank you for coming to the stream where we draw. I have finished up all of the lines, the line art for this part. So now we're going back and doing some fills. Right now I'm mostly doing fills on the acid parts for Queen, of which there are quite a few actually. Especially on this page. And she's busy being a pain in the butt with Chris. Azure on Papyrus, like, I don't know what inundated stuff. Too much acid. Oh, okay, yes, please, do DM me about that if you do that. Shoot me the old DM. I'll find time for that in, since if my calculations are correct, might have a little bit more time to work on stuff in about 3 weeks or so. We'll see how it goes. I guess in 3 weeks, that's like end of the month, though. God, time! What is it even? I'm still in the middle of roughs right now on this current episode, and that's always the toughest part, most time-consuming. Alright, thanks a bunch for coming to the stream. I'll also be doing Slay the Princess later tonight, so look out for that. So we do more whatever's going on there. Oh wow, you can just do that when you're in Florida, I guess. Okay, that's alright. If you got other things or other time zones even, that's probably part of the issue. Florida is the Wild East. It's on the East Coast. I don't think they do any rocket launches in British Columbia, to my knowledge. It's always them time zones. Ooh. Man, I like living in British Columbia. It's very pretty here. I really like it in the spring. Now all the trees are blooming. We're getting the cherry blossoms, and the magnolia trees are blooming. I like that a lot. It's so pretty. The ground just, yeah, Undertale yellow? Exactly. That is so Florida core. Gator on your doorstep. Would you rather have a walrus or a fairy or a gator on your doorstep? Whereas here what you mostly find is black squirrels. Chris has been ensnared. Ensnarification. A lot of acid on this page, so a lot to fill in. No, allergies are not super fun. Where are the iguanas? It was gator made. See you later, alligator. After a while, crocodile. I think like the school mascot for like my very first elementary school was like the Gators. Yeah, I think it was the Gators, huh? I do like Canada. Canada's very pretty. At least here on the west coast. Nice big mountains covered in snow in the backdrop. Like I had a friend visiting from Toronto, and she's kind of like, "What is mountains?" I'm like, "Yeah, there's mountains there. There they are. They have snow on them." Luckily, the gays are everywhere, so you can live wherever you want. Wherever you go on this planet Earth, there will be gays. So you can just go there. I mean, probably not Antarctica, but maybe there's probably gay penguins, so you could maybe go there even. But it'd probably be very cold, so I wouldn't recommend it. I think I'm missing another line here. Ah. Oh yeah, Arendelle in Kingdom Hearts 3. Oh boy. The snowstorm can't get us here. Whack! I mean, yeah, because Vancouver does have that, because Vancouver is also a pretty big city. Like, if you get any city big enough, it's going to have a big queer scene just because of, you know, population. And that's, at least in Vancouver, that's on the west end. That's where a lot of the community is. But that is unfortunately kind of an expensive place to be. But then again, where in Vancouver is not expensive, so that's just the way it is. Yeah, pretty much any major city is gonna have scenes for that, because there's enough people to support that. When you have a lot of people, you can do a social scene with those people. I wouldn't know because I'm a big shut-in. I do miss the fact that the D&D bar here had to shut down during COVID. That's sad. If I didn't know, and I would have gone more. Yeah. I was supposed to be there, and hers and Hans showing up out of nowhere with no explanation was always totally part of the plan. Uh-huh. Oh, boy. I'm trying to remember what world is after Arendelle. I think maybe it's... Is that... Actually, I think maybe it's... Is it Monsters, Inc., or does that already happen? Did you already have Monsters, Inc.? Did that happen yet? I can't remember. Was Monstropolis next? Because if it's not Monstropolis... Okay, then the next one you have is the Caribbean. That's what's probably next. Which, Has its good points, but I struggled in parts of it. I struggled with the ship battles. I sucked at those. That was a crappy part where I sucked. But other than that, like, you know, they blend the live action elements there, you know, pretty decently. And I guess it probably depends on circumstances for that. You have enough Sly 3 as a kid. Well, if you're confident in ship battles, then this is probably going to go fine for you then. You might like pirates. It is at least fun for one part where Sora just loses his shit and goes ham on people. Like, that part's kind of fun. This goat flies off the handle. He flies right off the handle. And you're like, oh, that's cathartic. Sora deserved that. There's so much acid on these pages. With all the darn stuff going on. I'm probably going to have to do some funky shading with the ropes and stuff here to make sure they don't look totally acid colored. I mean, it kind of depends on what you're doing. For some people, they will get negative attention rather than have no attention. That's unfortunately an issue, I'm sure, in a lot of ways. Well, you should go to that bar with them. Even if you don't, you know, do the other stuff, you can get some burgers and watch a show. You can do whatever you want. I think I might need to stop soon and stretch, because I can't remember when I stretched again. And my wrist is starting to feel a little bleg. A little bleg. But I want to also finish off this page. I'm close to it. I am close to it. Okay, we'll finish this panel at least. Before Chris dies a horrible death again. I'm sorry, Chris. Video game deaths are probably definitely preferable to this. Oh, location does make that hard sometimes. I'm gonna have to go through here with like a glowy acid thing to show acid glow. Acid glow. Okay, let's take a break to stretch. Oh, interesting. Yeah, she definitely has some thoughts on Kingdom Hearts 3. I think it's a much harder subject for her because for personal reasons that I won't go into here right now. But it's totally understandable. Okay. But yeah, good grief. It's 2019 it came out. Oh my goodness. So almost 5 years ago. I really haven't touched it since I first played it. It feels odd to me. Odd. And yet, that's how it ended up. Yeah, I am curious what you'll think of the end game in particular. Yeah, I won't go into what that is on a stream, but it was very, very rough stuff that I think definitely impacted her playing the game. But that's not my place to say right here, but just, it was very hard. Hello, thank you for coming. That is okay. If you're lurking, that is fine. Brutally carried on course of fun ways with no consequences. Exactly. No, it was 2019. We waited a very long time for Kingdom Hearts 3. It was very long. I think that they originally even said 2018 and then they pushed it back to 2019. I'm not sure why they pushed it back specifically, but you know, those giant games, there's always something that goes wrong and they gotta spend extra time fixing it. Just budget in. Yeah. Ugh. Actually, I think it might have been like technically 13, which, haha, 13 years. Mother 3 level wait. We're still, I guess, waiting for English Mother 3. That's probably never gonna happen. That's too bad. Yeah, that's also quite possible, because we were waiting a really long time. I was deep into the fandom. Especially, you know, after 2. Between, like, basically Chain of Memories and 2, I was, when I super started in the fandom. Alright, be right back for one more stretch. Alrighty. Oh, the music is a copyright disaster? Oh, that sucks. That's too bad. Ah! More boba ASMR. They're trying to get out my last bobas. Yeah, I played pretty much all of the Kingdom Hearts games except for the stuff that was Japan exclusive or the stuff that was like the big MMOs. Like, I can't remember the iterations they all went through now. Unchained, all that kind of stuff. I want the boobas! Give them to me! The straws can't reach them at the bottom of this very tall cup. I can barely get them. But yeah, like I played Chain of Memories on the Game Boy Advance when it came out. Just about absolutely destroyed my thumbs trying to fight Marluxia because I was not good at deck building. I was playing it on a big family trip where we went to Utah. So like burning through batteries while we're in the car driving, playing through Chain of Memories and being like, what is happening here? I literally got myself a PSP just to play Birth by Sleep. Yeah, I'll see what happens with Kingdom Hearts 4. My thing is that, like, I'll admit I'm not super interested anymore after 3. Just what they've shown so far, I'm like, okay, what about the Disney worlds? I want to see Disney characters interacting with people. Like, it seems like they've loaded on so many, like, original characters. It's reached my point, like, my threshold of this is too hard for me to keep track of everybody here, or it's not fun for me to keep track of everybody here. So I've just been dropping off. Like what I want is that, you know, them to be in cool Disney worlds and stuff. And now it's like they're in the original world of this stuff, and I'm like, but I don't care. I literally, like, I don't want them to go to like Marvel or Star Wars or whatever. I want Bambi. That's never going to happen, but, you know. I want, like, I don't know, Atlantis the Lost Empire. Weird stuff. I want deep cuts. If you play any Kingdom Hearts games, just start with 1. 1 on its own is a perfectly good, very fun game, just as a standalone. Like, I would recommended that on its own because just by itself, 1 is a good game that is fun to play, well designed, good ideas. And then if you want to do more, then you can. But like, if you're just curious, like, about the series at all, just start with 1 and see how you like it. Because I think that's a perfectly good, serviceable, full game in of itself to kind of give you a sense of how things are in that universe. Yeah, oh boy, get ready for some exposition dumps in the endgame then. There's a lot of those. It's a lot. I'm curious how you'll deal with the endgame then. There's a lot of exposition dumps in the endgame. Because we gotta wrap this up, and there's like 50 characters. Yeah, no, yeah, like a really good Let's Play I watched recently was Chip Cheesiest, I think it is. It was a duo. They were doing Kingdom Hearts Final Mix. That was a really enjoyable Let's Play to watch. I need to find the link for that if you guys want. That was a good one. And they might be doing Chain of Memories next, which will be good if they do. I'll check that out. But yeah, if you are at all curious about Kingdom Hearts, just play the first game and see how you like it. I think that's a very good standalone game on itself. Yeah, there's no new worlds to explore. We've remade everything. Now it's all in live action. So same thing, but worse. Yeah, I don't want them to do that. I don't want Star Wars and Marvel. Like, that's not fun for me. Those are already, like, extremely big, bloated properties that I feel like adding Kingdom Hearts into that is just gonna, like... It's gonna be overwhelming. It's too much to deal with. You can't have a nice focus on a few characters like you can with, like, a Disney movie. Yeah, Kingdom Hearts really works better in animation. Like, if they were doing anything... If there was anything about Kingdom Hearts that would interest me, bring back the animated TV show they were planning to do and then scrapped, and just like having a big fresh start in that sense, that would interest me. That would be kind of cool, because I think it would work very well as an animated series if you pushed it in the right directions. Yeah, it's like the reason I don't want Star Wars and Kingdom Hearts is because Kingdom Hearts is pretty much already Star Wars in terms of like breadth of the universe and lore and all this stuff. Kingdom Hearts is like Star Wars. So just adding Star Wars into that is going to... It's too much. It's too overcomplicated. You can't... Like, these are worlds operating on extremely different, like, rules and all that kind of stuff. It just... No, it would be too much. I wouldn't like it. I don't know how they could do it without, like, either cutting a lot off of Star Wars or just really overdoing it with Kingdom Hearts. I don't know a successful way you could pull that off. Like, the best ways I feel like you could incorporate Disney and Marvel stuff is like gummy ships. Give me an X-Wing gummy ship. That would be cool. Give me a lightsaber Keyblade. That would be cool. I don't want him interacting with Luke or Rey or anybody. Keep it simple. Yeah, I want them exploring, like, these specific Disney worlds. Yeah, that's the other thing I worry about is because, like, I feel like they would, like, well, we have to put in Star Wars and Marvel because that's going to sell the game. And we have to sell the game. So we're going to put in these popular franchises, whether or not that makes for good writing. Well, Kingdom Hearts is not specifically animated. It started as that. Like Kingdom Hearts 1, they only did animated stuff. Their one big standout thing was Nightmare Before Christmas, which was, you know, the stop motion thing. But otherwise, it was all 2D animated things. They had some big branches out in Kingdom Hearts 2, in which they did Pirates of the Caribbean and Tron. Like, those were kind of the standout worlds because those were live action ones. I definitely prefer them doing the animated movies, though. There's only so many of those they can do, but at the same time. And they've also shown now with Kingdom Hearts 3 they can go to Pixar worlds. Oh boy. This is my exhausted sound. I will admit, like, if they do Star Wars and Kingdom Hearts 4, that's gonna not pique my interest. That's gonna dampen my interest. What would pique my interest is like doing a weird Disney movie that we haven't seen much of, that Disney doesn't really give much love to, like Atlantis or Treasure Planet or what are some other ones? Bolt. I don't know. Just something different that is not all about their big popular franchises. But I'm like, oh, this could make an interesting Kingdom Hearts world. Let's go visit that. But yeah, to each their own. I'm sure there are plenty of people that would be interested in a Star Wars one. Just for me, I'd be like, oh, that sounds... It sounds exhausting. That's all I would say to that. It sounds exhausting. I'm afraid by 3 it kind of... I mean, I don't know if it's multi-franchise. I think the thing that Kingdom Hearts has become is just that there's just so many original characters going on. Like, the original, like, selling point was, this is Disney meets Final Fantasy. So, you know, we go to Disney Worlds. There's also some Final Fantasy characters, though, and we use Final Fantasy style, you know, magic and weapons and stuff like that. And it's like, oh, this is a cool thing. And but you know, we tied these together with original characters, and that worked pretty well. But now it's just kind of expanded this place of like it's all these original characters and this complicated kind of political like machinations against each other. At least it is with the villains, and it's like, oh man. That's how it felt by Endgame, anyway. I was like, there are so many villains here to fight, and they're all doing this for different reasons. It was so much. It's so much! I don't know, probably maybe it's because Eldritchrune swallowed me too thoroughly. That is to say, though, I do miss, like, I made a lot of friends in the Kingdom Hearts fandom. Some people I'm still friends with today. Like, I don't know, I just had memories of, like, I think it was when Dream Drop Distance first came out, maybe? Or maybe it was Birth by Sleep. I think it was Dream Drop Distance. Like, me and 2 friends in real life, all 3 of us were in the Kingdom Hearts. And we all got the game at the same time. And we all just kind of we went to, like, my house together, and we all hung out, and we were just playing through it together. And that was really fun. I really liked that. And one thing I don't regret is, you know, the friends you make in a fandom. That's the important part. That's the part that sticks with you. Oh, I would hate that! No! No! Oh, I would hate that so much. I would hate that. I would be so mad. That would make me swear off Kingdom Hearts forever. I already hate the idea of live-action Bambi. I am personally offended at live-action Bambi. I have flames on the side of my face at live-action Bambi. I would be so mad. I don't think they would do that, but I would be so mad! That would Kingdom hurt! Exactly! I don't think they would include a live-action remake world either. Thank God. If they did, I'd be like, really? 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 Nah! Live-action Bambi offends me. It doesn't even exist yet. My soul is withering at the thought of live-action Bambi. Like, oh, I'm sorry. Are these beautiful oil paintings not enough for you? Is this, you know, quiet and peaceful story about a forest, which is basically like a painting about a forest that's brought to animated life? Is that just too weird and esoteric for you now, and we can't sell that to the kids anymore? Ah! Ah! This is the exact same attitude as like, we can't make Sokka sexist, because then people won't like him. And I'm like, the point is that he grows as a character. It's character growth. Imagine if, like, somebody, you know, trying to remake Eldritchrune is like, well, we decided not to make Susie a bully because that's problematic. We don't want to teach kids to be bullies. And I'd be like, shut your mouth! These are characters! Yeah, you came back to me yelling. I'm screaming at live-action Bambi. A boil on the side of my brain. Hatred. Flames on the side of my face. I don't think they're gonna realize no one likes that until they stop making money. You shut your filthy Disney mouth. Indeed. They will stop making those things when those things stop making money. So basically, stop going to them. Don't hate watch them. Stop it. Stop going to them. Oh, that's like, oh, it's so dumb. It's so dumb. It's so dumb. Ah. I mean, that's been true for pretty much most of Disney's life. Like, you can say many things about Walt, but one thing that was very clear about Walt Disney is that he was a capitalist. He was big in on that. He was a good artist and a good leader, but he was a big capitalist. Yeah, exactly. Hate watching is how we get more of that stuff. Don't hate watch. Don't do it. Just step the heck the whole way from that. Definitely things I'm trying to teach myself as well. Acid! I throw acid at you, Bambi live action. Bah. How do you like this? Blech. Bambi's regarded as culturally insensitive. I don't think I've seen the live action Cinderella. And, you know, probably not going to. I heard the live action Jungle Book is not too bad. Because it, you know, it's like, okay, if you're going to do this movie again, why don't you do something a little different from it than the previous one? And, like, explore a new idea with it. Like the idea that Mowgli actually is dangerous and that Shere Khan is right about Mowgli. Okay, that is an interesting idea that you could potentially work with in this new medium. A medium that it's more appropriate for because, you know, it's a bit more of a serious take than, you know, oh, you know, the kid's being hunted by the tiger, scary. Like, that works okay. And it's kind of like, another example I think of, like, is live-action Lion King as they do it just works so badly. But they're like, oh, this is like a documentary. You're like, we're shooting it like a documentary. It's like, no, you're not. This is a musical. A musical and documentary don't go together. If you are going to treat this like a documentary, then go all the way. Don't have music. Don't have voices. Have like a David Attenborough like voiceover of lions doing stuff and then basically like describing this kind of big royal plot in which none of the characters talk. That would be an interesting way to approach The Lion King. But instead, they just did the same movie as before, but made it worse. Why are we doing this? Noelle could just smash some ice and build an elaborate ice labyrinth around Queen. Noelle has that kind of power. I mean, like, later on, Chris is commanding Noelle to try and freeze the acid. And she's working on it, she just can't get super far with it. She can freeze a little bit, but not enough for them to make good progress. Now she'll just use her ice powers to make an elaborate ice palace, and Chris can just walk out of danger. Whee! Anyways, I have a lot of feelings about live-action remakes of animated movies. And they're not nice thoughts. They're angry thoughts. Especially about Lion King and Bambi, because, like, Lion King was, like, those are both, like, important Disney movies to me for, like, different reasons. Well, Lion King was definitely formative to me when at the tender age of 10. Ah, I love Rescuers Down Under. That's formative to me as well. Ah, so good. Yeah, I refuse to watch live action Lion King. I have seen enough of it that I'm just like, nope, I will never make you a part of my life. Be gone, thou foul demon. Yeah, again, like the original Lion King is super formative to me. I spent like a lot of high school like listening to the soundtrack while I did my homework. Just like not even like the main songs, but like, you know, the orchestral, you know, background stuff. Like that evokes like feelings and emotions in me. And no, live action Lion King, you are not allowed in my household. Be gone. Ouch. Oh, yeah, that's pretty painful. Like, if you're not making this kids movie for kids, what are you doing? I mean, what they're doing is they're making this movie for adults that remember this movie as kids. And they're like, oh, I remember liking this movie as a child. I should go show this new one to my child. And it's like, well, just show them the old movie. They'll like the old movie because the old movie is good. Like, it's good for a reason. It is definitely a nostalgic cash grab. And unfortunately, it works. That's why they keep doing it. It works well enough for them to keep on keeping on with it. And I wish that was not the case. Because goodness knows people are going to get tired of it. And it's like, okay, what do you have to replace it? And also the frustrating thing is, like, some of their original stuff is just not doing as well either. Like, there was, I guess it was Strange World came out, and that didn't do very well. And I saw it, because I wanted to support it or whatever. I saw it on Disney Plus, and I'm like, okay, that was alright. Like, there was nothing really nothing offensive about it. It just, it didn't stand out really. And it's like, okay, these are fine characters, I guess, but they're not, I don't know. It's really hard to pin down, like, what about that movie made it not work. Because it seems like, yeah. The thing is, like, I know people threw a fit about that, but, like, completely ignoring, the fact that, one of the main characters is gay, and that's a, kind of a side plot point. Just, like, all that aside, I'm like, okay, let's watch this, give it a shot, and I just, like, it just slid off my brain. I don't know why. It's really weird. I wish I could pin down, like, at least for me, what about this movie made it slide off my brain. But that's just kind of how it is. But it's too bad, because it's like, I want Disney to do more risky stuff. I want them to, like, try different things. And especially animated things. And, do original stories and all that stuff, instead of just franchise stuff over and over again. But then this stuff, flops. And it doesn't help them, like, well, see, people don't want this original thing. They want the thing they already know. And then they just keep selling us the same stuff again. Character chooses the bad path instead. Cinderella No Mercy run. Yeah. Lightyear barely has anything, although I think the problem is also, like, again, the stories in Lightyear and Onward are just kind of mid. Like, if you have a good story, people will be like, oh, okay, I think I'm fine with these characters. But that's the really strangling aspect of it, is like, if you don't have a decent story enough, people are not gonna come out for it. Is it good? It's fine. Like, having watched it, it's not bad. It's just fine. You will have an okay time with it. That is my stuff. So if you're just like, if you're doing something, you want to put on something you haven't seen before, it's fine. And that's part of the problem, is that, like, because it's the representation stuff, it can't just be fine. It has to be extremely good. Otherwise, people are like, well, this is bad, and the gay stuff made it bad. It's like, but it's not actually bad. It's just fine. But being just fine is unacceptable. I know. They really marketed the live-action Lion King. They hyped that up big time. But I refuse. I will not have live-action Lion King in my house. Regular Lion King only. Oh, that sucks. Oh no, not the gays. Oh no. It's not even a story about the main character being a gay. It's mostly a story about, like, you know, family expectations across generations and how you deal with that. But then again, admittedly, a lot of, like, animated Disney movies and stuff nowadays are about, like, generational trauma. I wonder what that says about the generation making them now. Yeah. Yes, do not send me a copy of live-action Lion King. I will come to your house and push everything off your shelves like an angry cat. I will do that. Okay, we got this page done. Maybe we can also see how far we get with 8, I guess? Assuming I haven't done that one yet. Scrolling down. Can't remember everything that I did in terms of fills. Okay, I did do fills on this so far. That's good. Because I know I'm not quite done with all the fills on part 1 yet, but we're getting close. We are getting close. We'll see how far we get with this, but probably once I'm done with whatever I'm doing here, we will stop the art stream for the day so I can take a little break to eat some dinners. And then I'll come back at 7:30 for more Slay the Princess. And we'll see what madness is going on there. Doing the dishes. Bleh. A daily activity. Or almost daily. I do listen to stuff while I'm doing the dishes, so thank goodness for that. Hopefully I can help you finish your dishes quickly and without incident. Okay, I'm pretty sure there is a cricket that was left in Alfie's tank that is chirping away right now. And she's just sitting there not eating it. I'll try and scoot them towards her if she's laying in her tank, and she'll be kind of like, huh? Cricket? I'm just going to watch that and see if it comes close enough for me to get it. I'm not going to chase it. Oh, I forgot that one too. What's going on there? Now Noelle gets to fight back. I think I'm going to have to do fills on this stuff, even though this is going to turn icy colors later. Icy colors! But I am at least glad that we got all the line arts done. I've captured... Alfie's is my pet. Alfie's... I have a bearded dragon, and her name is Alfie's. And bearded dragons eat crickets. And they are very noisy. I'm sure, I don't know if you've seen pictures of her, but I posted pictures of her on my socials. She's my little baby boo. My little girl. Yeah, she definitely lives up to her name. She doesn't like to go outside. She's not a healthy eater. And she has her little shark plushie, which I've named Undine, and she spends all day hugging it. So she is her namesake. I don't know, maybe she's done horrible experiments that I'm not aware of, but that's probably harder to do when you are a little lizard who does not even know how to read or what English is. Probably just hears me making these noises all day and is like, I don't know, the human's making those noises for reasons that I can't comprehend, and I don't care to. But yeah, if she could, she probably would just eat ramen all day. In her pajamas. Oh no, this has all the ice stuff on it too. Oh, I'm gonna hate this. Oh. Oh. I hate these little prickly parts. Then all these little points I gotta fill in. Yeah, but we'll do it. I will stop after we get to the end of this page, I think. This will be kind of a complicated one to do special things for. A lot of effects in this part. Hello, hello, thank you for coming. We are probably going to be finishing up the stream here soonish. I'm going to try and finish the fills on this page. But I appreciate you coming by. And I will be back again in a few hours for some game playing, which should be fun. I'm trying to make progress on this part, which is taking so long. It turns out boss battles are a pain in the butt to do. Yeah, I'm not stopping just yet. I'm gonna finish this page first. Or at least finish the stuff on this page first. I will let you know when I'm gonna stop. I definitely gotta stop and then stretch eventually. This is just a complicated thing to draw because all those gosh darn icicles hanging off of their Stretch Armstrong limbs. They still have Stretch Armstrongs. They advertised those a lot when I was a kid. Your Stretch Armstrong, it's rubber and you pull it now. Suddenly realizing, you know what I want to see in chapter 3? I want to see references to like really weird, obscure TV I saw during the 90s and early 2000s. I want to see Stickly. I want to like a reference to. Does anybody remember Stickly from? I think it was Nickelodeon. I'm pretty sure it's on Nickelodeon. And he was like a popsicle stick with a face on and a British accent. He's like, I'm Stickly. I'm here to blah 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 blah. I want a Stickly reference. Nobody will get it but me. And I will Leo point at it, like the meme. Or some other weird, obscure stuff from TV back in the day. Weird commercials and all that. Okay. Yeah, Stickly, that was like a promotional thing. Yeah, Cricket stopped for now. It'll start up again soon enough. Stickly was like this weird little promotional thing. A Nickelodeon, like in between programs. It was basically a popsicle stick with like a little face glued on it, little googly eyes on it. It's like, I'm Stickly. I'm here in Baltimore, and I'm going to talk to you about, I don't know, next program on Nickelodeon. And he would have his little googly eyes going. I love Stickly. Is Handy Snake in Eldritchrune? Maybe. It'd be a lot creepier, Handy Snake. Same idea as Snake with a hand, but the hand is like grasping and strangles you. The opposite of a Handy Snake. Evil Handy Snake. Yeah, Forky before he was cool. True. Forky has a long line of ancestors. 90s were weird. I will say that. Like, they were fun, but they were fun because I was a kid in them. And I didn't have to worry about things. That is why they were fun. You know, you can only be a kid in whatever time that you are a kid. Again, I think the reason why I like the 90s was because I was a kid during then. And I didn't worry about that much stuff. I only worried about, I'm going to get my Jurassic Park toys. All the food was very weird. A lot of like, we're going to put glitter and like color dye and ketchup and you're gonna put it on your burgers and like it. Have this drink that's like 40% sugar. You will buy it. Also, cereal commercials had like these giant, like complicated ARG plots going on. That was cool. It's like, will Captain Crunch do the thing? Well, you better tune in next time or else go to the Captain Crunch www.com and look at this weird thing. We just found out the internet existed and we're gonna put stuff on it. Ultra radical everything in purple ketchup. Capri Sun. Sobeys. Remember those? Sobeys? They were those big drinks with the lizard on them. Oh, those were cool. I like those. I was like, oh, I want a Sobey. And they're always like weird Snapple flavors. Like mango on Wii and whatever. I don't even know what they tasted like, but it was good. There's a lot of sugar drinks. This was before they're like, oh wait, maybe corn syrup and everything is not the best idea. Like, no, corn syrup and everything. Yeah, the secret ingredient was like 80 grams of sugar. Absolutely true. That's why I wanted them all the time. They were good. Passion fruit powerhouse. This is like why I just howl with laughter at that old meme of like power thirst. You're gonna have babies, so many babies. They'll run as fast as Kenyans. I'll race them all the way back to Kenya. Godberry, king of the juice. Hearing the word corn syrup in a completely different conversation. Oh, that's so funny. I mean, I technically was a little kid in the 80s, but I wasn't really exposed to a lot of stuff until the 90s because, like, in the 80s, our family was pretty poor, so we had, like, 2 Disney movies on VHS, and we watched those 10 bajillion times, and that was my media exposure. You want to watch something else? No, we are watching Swiss Family Robinson again. I have it memorized. Here comes the tiger. We're gonna watch Swiss Family Robinson until you're sick of it. We did not have that much stuff. But I remember one thing was extremely weird was like apparently, you know, my family taped some Disney cartoons off of TV once. You know, put it on VHS and all that kind of stuff. And they must have been, I don't know why they would have been running this on TV. Maybe it was like a history thing. But they were running some World War II propaganda cartoons. Like, I used to watch this cartoon a bunch when I was a kid. And then I watched it again. We pulled out that tape somehow, you know, after high school. And it was like, you must pay your taxes to defeat the Hitler mecha, Donald Duck. And I was like, wait a minute. We had this the whole time? I had no clue what this was when I was 4. It was so funny. Oh yeah, Hot Wheels were good. Good stuff. I also need to turn on the background so I know where the heck the acid is coming from. Acid! This Where Wires is straight up having a bad day. But as soon as this panel is done, I think we're going to call it, because I need to take a little break to get some dinner, and probably go into my inbox. My Tumblr inbox. Okay, I probably need to do fills on that much. It's the same acid color as the other one. Whee! Ooh! Noel to the rescue! Yeah, no, it was straight up war propaganda. It absolutely was. I actually got the 10 box set of it a while ago. I think I lost it. But I got the 10 box set of all the World War II propaganda. And some of it is super not aged well. Like the racist stuff for sure. Some of it's fascinating because some of it's like was basically made for like South America on how to like avoid malaria and stuff like that. But like with Disney cartoons. There's one that's like made for Canada, and it's like buy war bonds, and it's like here's all Snow White's dwarves, and they're gonna go get some war bonds and stuff like that. It's pretty. It's a time capsule for sure. Stanley in the theater on it. That's pretty funny. Oh, them old school bootlegs. I could probably not that old school. People probably still do that. Although it's probably harder nowadays. Just I wonder if somebody should do that with Coyote versus Acme. Please do that. Goodness gracious, animation. What a mess. What a craziness. Yeah, Popples I think was around. I think that was like a toy show kind of thing. You could get like little stuffed animal Popples. I think that's what they were. I'm pretty sure that was real because that sounds real. That sounds like a franchise that I didn't see, but I would have seen around. Because I think it was like, I don't remember, it was like you can flip the stuffed animal inside out and get a different one. I don't remember how it worked. But that sounds familiar, so it probably existed. It's probably not just you. Anyways, phew. I think I'm going to have to stop for now so I can take a break to, check my Tumblr inbox and get dinner and all that stuff. But we made pretty good progress. We got through all the line work for the rest of this, and now I'm on to the fills, so that's good. Slowly making my way through this dang part, taking so long to do. Okay, you do have a plushie for it. Yeah. But yeah, we made some pretty good progress. Hopefully, by the time I'm done with this, it'll look pretty good. I know it looks a little drab right now, but once I finish all the colorings for it, and probably will pop out a bit more. Heck, I'll probably still be working on this next time I do an art stream because goodness knows I've got a lot to do for it still. But yeah, I think this is a good place to stop for now. Well, thank you. I'm glad you think it looks cool. Also, thank you for coming and for following and for listening to me blab on and on about weird things. But yeah, I usually do this on Sunday, but again, we're just doing it on Saturday because of the holiday tomorrow. So I'll be back in a few hours, around 7:30 or so, to play more Slay the Princess. I'm excited about that because that looks pretty fun. So if you want to come back in a little while for game time, I will be here. But otherwise, if you don't, or if you do, yeah, I will be eating. But yeah, for now, I'm going to sign off for now. So thank you guys so much for coming to the stream. I'm glad I got some work done and chatted a bit. And whenever I see you next, I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. And I'll see you all next time. Alrighty, see you later.